All right, welcome to the Krug Show. Monday night, Dieter's in the house. The Michigan Wolverines are your national champions. The Giants are beating the Phillies, but we got a lot of...
Is that true? Did that happen when I was watching the Sharks game, Larry? I have an immediate stat. Let me pull it up. I got it. Hold on.
No,
they're losing 6-4.
Oh, they were winning. They were winning just...
Then the bullpen got in.
Oh, wow. We got a lot to get to. Let's get to it right here. Off and running on the Krug Show Monday night, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Use Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. And we're also, of course, brought to you. The Krug Show is presented by Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is super simple. You just pick more or less on player stats or even game outcomes and build your lineup. It's available in most states, including California. So if you haven't checked it out yet, use code HMA when you play $5. You're going to get $50 in lineups instantly, and we'll do a lineup a little bit later on today. So fired up to do that. Really excited. Hope you guys are excited to be here. Of course, the Krug Show also brought to you by Novato Chevrolet, family-owned for over 50 years. Check them out. We'll talk more about them in a bit. And last but certainly not least, the Krug Show is brought to you by Alomar Marina, alomarmarina.net. There you can float and dine at 5999 Garden Highway. They're in Sacramento. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. Try the shrimp tacos, Alomar Marina, and check out their website, alomarmarina.net.
Shrimp tacos sound good, Lair. Shrimp tacos sound real good.
Well, it's a really cool spot. I don't know if you've ever been there, but Alomar Marina is really cool. It's right on the Sacramento River, and you can actually drive your boat right up. You can dock it, and then you're having breakfast or lunch at Alomar.
Yeah,
and it's fantastic. They've got beers on tap. Lots of TVs in there. You can watch games. Voted best specialty cocktails in Sacramento, and the entire restaurant is floating on the Sacramento River. It's an amazing spot in the summertime as well. So I was there a few weeks ago. I had the
you drove your boat up. You drove your boat up.
I did not drive my boat up, but I will in the future.
Do you own a boat, Larry?
I do not, but I mean, the future is
at this rate with these Prize Picks money coming in. Who knows? That boat could be yours.
That's right. Okay, one of the stories of the day. I wouldn't call it the big story of the day, but we're gonna open with it. It was against my better judgment.
Yeah, well.
But here we go. Coach Yak has put it out there. The 49ers are listed as a top landing spot for Dexter Lawrence. The New York Giants defensive tackle is asked to be dealt. It made me laugh because Chase Sr. did a whole video saying, this would be a great pickup and this and that. And then John Feliciano, basically Chase Sr. did this whole thing about Odigizua is a better player than Dexter Lawrence, and there was a better deal for the Niners to get Odigizua. And then it's
those two deserve each other.
John Feliciano says talking about Dexter Lawrence is the best interior lineman in the league.
He is an outstanding football player. I disagree with pretty much everything John Feliciano says, both online and before that offline. But damned if he ain't right about this. Dexter Lawrence is one hell of a football player, and anyone who gets him would be well served. I mean, he is a one-man run-stopping machine. It's just a shame that this is all some sort of a sham to get a better contract in April. I mean, the Niners aren't getting Dexter Lawrence. They already went out and got Alfred Collins, and they already got C.J. West, and they're probably going to draft another defensive tackle. They're not going to go pay Dexter Lawrence $20 million a year to be a one-tech. So, sorry for crapping all over your top story here, Larry.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't buy it either. But why do you think that Bleacher Report would list the Niners there? That seems very odd. They got Buffalo, Chicago, Jacksonville, New England, and the 49ers as the top landing spots. Yeah. That makes absolutely no sense. The Niners invested. Now, I do think the 49ers are going to take another tackle. I do. I really
Yeah,
do.
sure.
And I'll even tell you what I think they're going to do in the first
Yeah.
round. But I the idea that they would bring in another big money tackle to play the one technique doesn't make any sense.
They don't even have enough money, according to John Lynch, for broke-ass Joey Bosa. How the hell are they going to afford Dexter Lawrence, who was the top-paid defensive tackle in football when he restructured his deal in 2024 and is now 12th, which is why he wants a trade, because the song and dance of getting a new contract always involves this, I need to be traded, and they're just jumping to that off the jump. It's not, I need a new contract, or I'm not going to show up to camp. It's like, no, trade me right bleeping now, in the words of Slapshot. So this is all posturing, and you know what? It's the Giants, so maybe he does get traded, because who the hell knows what Joe Shane is doing. I would imagine that John Harbaugh would be interested in having him on his football team. It does clear up a bit of a logjam if they do trade him. They have way too many defensive linemen. Now, no one who can replace Dexter Lawrence, but they do have an abundance of defensive ends. And again, the Niners are not in a position to be adding not just what would it be? I mean, 18 million. So they would have to take on 13 million for this year, but then you'd have to immediately redo his contract because he wouldn't show up. He would be doing the exact same thing if the Niners were to trade for him. He'd cost an arm and a leg in the trade. So say goodbye to 58 at the very minimum. Probably say goodbye to 27. Maybe not both of them, but you're saying goodbye to one of your top 60 picks, and you only have two of them. You're paying a very experienced 29-year-old defensive tackle $20 million. And again, like, he is very, very, very good, but the whole point of last year was to get younger and cheaper on defense. And to do that, they went out and drafted guys that they think can turn into or at least one guy who they think they can turn into a Dexter Lawrence type one day. Also, he doesn't really make much sense for a wide nine. Not a gap shooter. He's kind of a two-gapper. He can play one gap to be sure, but like, again, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's not a one gap penetrate and go, get up the field kind of a guy. He's a stripe on a stripe, control two. He's a two-gapper. Yeah. He's a two-gapper. He's an ideal 34 front player. If you have a 34 front, you're going to love this player. If you don't have a 34 front, not so much.
You can do it in a tight front, but yeah, he'd be unbelievable actually as a straight nose and a tight, or a mint or whatever the hell you want to call it these days, the 404. But yeah, no, he's a gap plugger. Those are fantastic football players. Nothing wrong with them. It's just not how Chris Kaczmarek goes about his business. Maybe he should, but if they ever go that way, Chris Kaczmarek's not employed by the 49ers anymore. Chris Kaczmarek has a certain type, and Dexter Lawrence, for as great as he is as a football player, not to take anything away from him, ain't Chris Kaczmarek's type.
So we're going to say no to Dexter Lawrence. Now the question now moves to Myles Garrett. And I did get a text today from a Cleveland guy who basically said that that Myles Garrett hasn't been heard from since Schwartz was passed over for Monken for the head coaching job. They haven't heard from Myles Garrett. Now, another one of my Cleveland sources told me earlier today that he is convinced, though he can't go with it because he has no real sources or anything.
But you can go with it.
Well, he says he's convinced that Myles Garrett has told the Browns privately that he wants out of there. That they gave him the $40 million a year last year on a 4-year deal, and because of that, he's got a seat at the table financially, right. And that instead of just coming out in the media and saying, hey, I want out, that he has operated this through his agent, and that his agent has expressed to the Browns that he wants out. Andrew Berry is publicly trying to say, no, he's going to be here. But they really have never come up with any real reason why they moved the schedule of his guaranteed payments. Mm-hmm. They never explained that. When Berry was asked about it, he didn't have an answer for it. Immediately, Schefter, when it was brought up that the payment schedule was getting moved around, immediately Schefter said, that's usually stinks of a trade.
Yeah.
And then the Browns GM, texted and said, hey, we want to keep this guy. So they took him at face value, but normally that means a trade. The Myles Garrett thing is interesting. Now,
Sure.
my other buddy in Cleveland said, Krug, this whole, there's this belief out there that Myles Garrett conversation starts with 3 1s.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you know what? The Browns, he thinks the NFL people around the league know that the Browns, they know that Garrett has told the Browns he wants out. And that there's a bunch of interest, but that the actual final cost in trade will not be 3 1s. And this guy said that the Browns' game plan this year is they have 2 number 1s, that they're really looking for as much draft capital as they can in 27 to give them flexibility to maneuver for Lenore Sellers or any of the top quarterbacks next year if Shador's not the guy. So this guy said, I know there's a lot of talk about 3 1s. He goes, I don't think it's going to cost that much. He goes, what I think it's going to cost you, though, is I think it would cost you your first and second day picks for sure in 27, and probably some more compensation, including, either a player or another pick. But he said that he really felt like 27 was the draft, that they already had 2 number 1s this year, and that their focus will not be on this year, that it will be on 27. So, you know what, that's interesting, because that may jive with what the Niners are trying to get done. Could you imagine if the 49ers they have 6 picks right now. Could you imagine if they could keep all 6 picks and add Myles Garrett? I think they would consider that an overwhelming win.
Not when you consider how much better the 27 draft class is shaping up to be to this one.
Well, but the only thing is it's a quarterback dominant draft class with 8 to 10 quarterbacks going in round 1, and the Niners they're not shopping in that aisle. So in a way, they're I don't know. I don't do a lot of really far down the road looks on draft classes, because it doesn't materialize. The draft is filled with 3 and 4 stars, and then the 5-star guys sometimes crap out. Yeah. And it's just not always. I've been told, there's many years where this year is going to be an amazing draft. And then, sometimes these things come together. I think there's probably really only been like 2 amazing drafts in our lifetime. The draft that had Deion Sanders was an amazing draft, where you had Hall of Famers up and down.
Well, what year did Deion get traded in? Let's see if that's in my lifetime.
Yeah, what year? I forget what year it was, but Deion's year, there was
89 in my lifetime. Old
an amazing amount of great players in that
he
draft.
Went 5th.
Yeah. I mean, it was an amazing draft.
Top 5 picks: Troy Aikman, Tony Mandarich, Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas, Deion Sanders. Yeah, that will do. That will do. That's a good 4 out of 5 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Holy crap! So, Derek Thomas at 4, and then you can't even blame him.
Let me ask you this: do you think that the 49ers, who have the 3rd youngest defense, and yet they've got kind of an older team, in their mind, they need to do something significant, because they are trying to compete with Seattle and the Rams and the Eagles and the Chiefs and all these teams, not like eventually, like this year, and they fell behind. Myles Garrett would be the cheat sheet. You can get a whole lot better if you can add a
single
Myles
best
Garrett.
defensive player in football would make your team better.
Yeah, especially but he's also 31, and you're getting an older player, and generally this is not the way to build.
Right.
But do you believe that the 49ers are in on Myles Garrett? Do you think that is a smart move?
If it is 2 first-round picks with a second, presumably, for next year, then it's a good move. I just have a very hard time believing that the Cleveland Browns, as much as they would, I think they're smart about getting draft compensation, right? They did a good job last year with that trade with Hunter, or what would have been Hunter, getting 2 first rounds this year. Yes, next year is the year that they want to be in. They want to have as many chips for the table in 2027, because that's the year they have to get their quarterback if they want to go that route. And they definitely need to go that route. So they're going to do their best to suck, and that will help them in that regard, but they also need that. If you're the 49ers, your expectation should be that you're never picking higher than 28th again, right? Like they're picking 27th this year. This was their gap year, and they're picking 27th. So it should be nothing but very, very low first-round draft picks from this point on, which is to say that it's a lot less dangerous if that is your mentality. And it doesn't always work out that way. But if that's your mentality, then you should be putting that chip on the table and saying, hey, Browns, come sniffing. But Micah Parsons got 2 first-rounders and Kenny Clark. Younger, unquestionably.
Healthier.
Had an injury at the time, and who knows how much healthier he is than Garrett right now, though the wear and tear is certainly not as big. Myles Garrett is also, and I mean this earnestly, I've had this conversation with my wife many times, the person I would put up as our champion against the aliens. Of all the people on the earth, I would say it's like, who is your ultimate champion? Who is your ultimate warrior? I would give them Myles Garrett. People say, oh, LeBron. Myles Garrett is 6'7", 285 pounds with like a 3% body. I'd give him Myles Garrett and say, that's our guy. So
I don't know. I was with you. Wait a second.
The aliens got him.
I was with you until I saw, what's the guy's name? Uar. What the heck? I wrote it down. It's unbelievable. Uar Bernard, who is 6'5", 306 pounds with a 39-inch vertical and runs 4.6. I would say if the aliens come, we got to put out Uar Bernard.
It's not Uar Bernard. 6'4", 306 is insane. I'll give you that. But
well, 6'4", 306 is common. 6'4", 306 with a 39-inch vertical and 4.63 speed is.
Well, let's see what Myles tested at. Regardless, there's a lot of incredible athletes in football. Myles Garrett's also then translated that athleticism into the single-season sack record and a consistent body of work of elite play, and also a hell of a celebrity all-star game player at the NBA all-star game. Like, unbelievable hooper. So, again, we're not having an argument over who we should put up in front of the aliens now that Artemis is on the dark side of the moon, and that's probably imminent. It's merely just to say, I'm willing to bet on Myles Garrett. Again, Micah Parsons, I don't really know what he does for you against the run. In a league where running the football is back in vogue, they've more runs than we've seen since 2011, highest rushing success rate, a lot of 6 offensive lineman sets, 13 personnel is in, fewest wide receivers on the field in a long time over this past year. I need someone who can also stop the run. Myles Garrett's elite at that as well. So, no, to answer your question, Myles Garrett is the kind of guy that you push your chips into the middle of the table. But at a certain point, I don't think that the 49ers are keen to get up to what the Browns should absolutely 100% ask for, which is, without question, 3 first-round picks, or give me your entire 27 draft.
Here is the question. Okay, so my buddy says to me, he's like, look, man, Myles has a lot of the leverage because they've already paid him. He's on the books. Mm-hmm. He could be really unhappy. He hasn't been heard from since, but there's belief that he's not going to play for them. So I was told that when you actually see him traded, that the return is going to shock you and it's going to not be what it should be. And that would make me interested. But other than that, I don't think I would be interested, just because I don't think it's in the Niners' best interest to get involved in some massive deal.
Right.
But if you could move him and keep some of your draft assets in 26 and give them your first, second, and third in 27 and another conditional pick and a player, but somehow you could retain some of your 26 draft assets, I think I might be willing to do that. The question is how, my buddy said to me, hey, look, Myles Garrett has a lot of power in this situation, and he's signed. And so when you're signed, you can make yourself you can become an island unto yourself. He said to me, Myles Garrett plays in a 4-3 wide 9.
Yeah.
And wants to continue playing in a 4-3 wide 9.
Very much.
And is playing for a losing team and wants to play for a winning team.
Yep.
My buddy from Cleveland said, I believe he'd love to go to a contender.
Yeah.
Well, the Niners are a contender, and the Niners represent a 4-3 wide 9 with a very good D-line coach and other pieces on their defensive front. It really just comes down to how much leverage does Myles Garrett have? And I would say he's got a lot, because nobody wants to acquire a player who makes $40 million a year who doesn't want to be there. So I'm not saying it's the NBA with like Steph and Giannis, and it's quite like that. It's still football. You still do what you're told and go where you have to be sent and so on and so forth.
Well, if he wants to get paid that $40 million, he will have to show up to work at some point.
Right. But my point is, if my buddy's right and this guy does have a lot more power in the situation, then the return may be more muted than we think. And if
it would have to be.
If the deal was Myles Garrett for 27 capital and you had to trade your first 3 picks and a player and, a conditional pick after that, but you could keep some of your 26 capital, I get the feeling, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I get the feeling that the 49ers, who have struggled in the first round, I don't think Shanahan and Lynch have forever. If you said to me, what do they have? I'd say they for sure have a good 3 more years.
That's fair.
They probably have more. Shanahan especially, I think, can kind of call his own shots. But if you said what,
it's all relative.
Nobody has forever, bro. How much time does this regime have? I would say it's year 10. Andy Reid got 13 years in Philly.
Right.
I think Shanahan and Lynch would probably get 13 years here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if
sounds arbitrary, but
if they keep winning, yeah, no, I mean, I think
it's also how it looks, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, if they're a 7-10 team for the next 2 years, they might not, then we're into the third year is it. If they're winning 13 games a year, then it's winning. Just keep rolling the 3 years over, right? But yeah, I think that's fair. I think that they've now sort of kind of like a baseball player. Once you do 10 years, you get your no trade clause to every team. Like they are vested. They have tenure at the university, so they get a while. It can't just be 1 year, it's all gone to hell. Because we've seen that, and it didn't go all to hell. I think they got contract extensions off of the damn thing. I would personally be more keen to give up 26. I think that this is one of the big errors of a lot of teams is once we get closer to a draft, and then teams start asking, like, hey, do you want a player? They go, oh, man, we just put in all this work on the 26th draft. Just take next year. And they don't. It's like, well, shouldn't part of your work and
listen, it's America. It's America. Why would you pay cash when you could put it on a card?
I mean, kinda, but right? Also, like, isn't part of your 26 work noting that 27 is a clearly better draft class? Like the Rams are really good about that.
I'm not buying that, by the way.
I'm telling you right now.
I know lots of people have said that, but let's just wait and see on that, because I cannot sit here and say in the last 5. And who follows the draft more than me? How many people can say in the last 5 drafts how they actually rate against one another? I mean,
I feel pretty comfortable saying it.
I can't speak to that.
Last year was a markedly better draft. I think the year before that was better. I think the year before that was worse than 20.
But it's a position by position thing. So like it's
that too.
This position's loaded. That position's thin.
Well, let's operate on the premise of like blue chip level players. I mean, it was a struggle to get to 7 this year. Just bona fide, no questions. Last year, I would say that there were 11. I would say there were 11 of them last year. That's what I graded it at. If I'm remembering correctly, the year before that it was 14, and I think the year before that it was 9. So there's your rubric. But then we also get into overall draftable players.
Who was the 27th pick in last year's draft?
I don't know.
Okay, so if we compared him to this year's draft, I bet you it's similar. And are you telling me now? So this year we know
we also know what those guys have done in the NFL already.
We know what Ricky Pearsall, where he was drafted. He was drafted near the end of the first round.
Last year's 27th pick might not be the best.
Would you
Last
rather
year was
have
Malachi Starks.
Okay, yeah. Would you rather have Ricky? But I mean, Ricky Pearsall was a late first.
Yeah.
Do you think Ricky Pearsall's better than the late first round pick receivers this year? I don't.
No, not at this year's receiver.
So
but it's close. It's close once we get there. I think he's better than Boston. I think he's better than a couple
year.
guys.
It's a year-to-year thing, and it's position by position. I mean, if somebody feels confident in speaking to definite this or that, I definitely think it's this is a horrible quarterback class, and we oftentimes rank draft classes by quarterback classes. But if you don't need a quarterback like the Niners, you don't really care about that. So I would take advantage of the fact that you have Mac Jones and Brock Purdy and don't need a quarterback. You have also Curtis Rourke, and just play. Yes, 20. I'd be playing up that angle too. Oh yes, Andrew Berry. The 27 draft class is going to be fucking nothing, but the streets are going to be paved with gold stones.
Awesome.
I mean, and so a first, a second, and a third in next year's draft is plenty for Myles Garrett. That's what I would be saying too.
I don't think that they can do it on a PR form. I mean, again, it's one of those things. You mentioned the NBA and all of it, but there is something to. And this guy got that many. And so this guy has to get this many because Myles Garrett is a markedly better player than Micah Parsons, even with the considerations of age and the differentiation there.
Yeah, but not really. Not when you think about the percentage of career, because that's really what you're paying for. It's like when you trade for a guy in baseball. How many years of control do you have? That matters so much. How many years of control do you have with Myles Garrett? What does he really have left? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's personally.
He's 4 years older than Micah Parsons. I get it. He's on another.
The total careers. What's the average career in the NFL? 7 years?
No, it's not the average career in the NFL is like 2.5.
Okay, but I mean the average career for like good players. I mean, what's the average great defensive end play? 8 years. So if he's 4 years older, you're talking about half the guy's career.
Yeah, but he's one of the all-time great players.
Yeah, but 4 years of a player.
No. It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
If the career was 20 years, then 4 years is not a big deal. But since the career is going to be 8 years, 4 years is like.
I also just don't want to buy into any of the Browns nonsense because we did this shit all last year, and then Micah Parsons signed on the dotted line because, to quote Mary Kay Cabot, who does an unbelievable job. Well, he felt comfortable about their quarterback situation. It's like, no, he felt comfortable about the number on the line. And now he doesn't feel so comfortable because, well, he's on the... But he re-signed with the Browns. Like, maybe he shouldn't be our champion because that's a pretty dumb thing to do. And then a year later be like, oh, shit, I'm on the Browns?
Well, but isn't this so... It's actually kind of totally understandable, though.
No, I get it.
You want the money because you haven't gotten paid. Then you get paid. And what do you do?
He had been paid because he's 29.
But I mean, you get the big bag.
Yeah.
What do you do then? It's like suddenly it's like, well, now I don't. I want to run my scheme. Oh, I want my coach to be the coach. Oh, now my coach is out, and you bypassed him for Todd Monken, who's never really done much, and now my coach quits. And one of the Cleveland people I talked to said that Heath believes that Myles Garrett probably called up the GM the day they passed over Schwartz and said, get me out. I won't say anything, but get me out.
I believe that.
So if that is indeed the case and the Niners have that intel, then maybe the price tag will be less. And then here's the other question. If he really, 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 really says, trade me to the Niners, is he Giannis? Do the Browns have to give in to him?
Probably not.
And then the question is, how many teams are going to be willing to trade 27 draft capital? And the Niners, because of the Mac Jones situation where they're getting an extra third, might just be willing to just, unleash 27 on them.
Maybe.
It's an interesting conversation.
By the way, Myles Garrett's second contract was $100 million guaranteed, 5 years, 125. So that was his rookie extension, and then he just signed a 4-year, 160. So the man's guaranteed at signing. He has over $200 million in the bank if he hasn't touched it.
Okay, so that's the point. I mean, does that money give him a seat at the table? Can he go to the Browns and not just say, trade me, but trade me to the Niners? I want to play on a winner. I want to play in a wide 9-4-3. I want to play for Team X. You make it happen. I mean,
it does sound very NBA.
Kind of pull?
I don't think anybody in the NFL has that kind of pull. I really don't. And by the way, if the listen, I don't disagree with the notion. Certainly, if Myles Garrett was saying, get me out of Cleveland, I won't say anything. The Browns are doing a terrible job of trying to get him out of Cleveland because apparently no one knows that Myles Garrett wants out of Cleveland. And that's the kind of thing that when it hits, well,
is it the John Schneiders and the John Lynches and the Howie Rosemans? Absolutely no. And they're just playing along because that's the gig.
That's not how it works. It just isn't, because they would, not that Myles Garrett requires much scouting, but it's kind of like the conspiracy with the moon landing. Like, oh, they couldn't have landed on the moon. It's like, you're telling me that all of these people have kept their mouth shut this whole time? At some point, a scout's job was to go and look up Myles Garrett in X, Y, and Z games. They'd leak. There's always a weak link, and it cannot just be like Andrew Berry has a tight circle, a circle of confidence of only GMs.
He's already put it out there that he's not moving him. But if you type in Myles Garrett trade, there's going to be
a lot of options from a lot of different years.
There's a lot of
maybe because he plays
there.
For the Browns.
Chicago Bears might have a Myles Garrett trade offer. Anonymous NFL execs think there's real smoke behind the Myles Garrett trade rumors.
I don't think that it's implausible.
Patriots.
Again, I just think that, if he was legitimately on the block, if Andrew Berry was in fact making calls being like, hey, what would you give me for Myles Garrett? It would take very little for actual due diligence there. Even the medical staffs and stuff. There's just too many people involved in a decision like that for it not to have leaked out somewhere. The idea that
there's countless stories online right now about Myles Garrett trade rumors.
Well, I don't think that countless stories online qualifies as as validation.
Well, there's a lot of talk. You're saying that nobody's talking about it. I'm saying there's lots and lots of scuttle about this.
I'm telling you that stuff
so
like
if he gets traded, what if he gets traded?
If he gets traded, then he got traded. But I think that there would be some actual smoke beforehand, not just a bunch of people on Bleacher Report tweeting about it.
Why? Luka Doncic to the Lakers, there was zero speculation about that.
And exactly why. That's why. No one does this stuff in a clandestine operation. The Browns
I disagree.
Why would the Browns want to keep it a secret? They would want to run up the bidding.
They're not keeping it a secret. They're keeping it a secret from us. Okay. It's not a secret to the football teams.
It's a secret. It's a
my
secret
buddy
to every
who comes to
football
the Browns said that he believes that Myles Garrett went to the Browns and asked for a trade, and that the Browns basically are conducting all of this behind the scenes. Heck, you're doing a draft guide. Who's one of the most dialed in guys in the league right now? Lance Zierlein. I just watched him 15 minutes before I sat down here on a segment of Path to the Draft where he comes out and says he's mocking Akeem Mesidor at 24 to the Browns because he's convinced that Myles Garrett won't be a Brown at the end of the draft.
Okay,
just saying.
I have not heard any real smoke, and that's the kind of thing that I'd like to think would come across my phone at some point.
Yeah, he is a gigantic name, but it kind of does
easy. It's easy. It's an easy segment. We just did it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But there's also, I said this to one of the guys I talked to in Cleveland. I said, hey, why do you think there's no buzz about this, about any kind of trade rumors? And he's like, I just really believe that the Browns know that Cleveland would just go crazy if that this is the kind of thing that you explain after it's done. It's not one of those things that you put out there and maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. He said he's already in a bad enough spot with the team. If this big rumor got out and there was all kinds of conjecture and then it didn't happen, it would poison the waters for their season.
Because those waters in Cleveland are running so clean right now.
Yeah, it's
again.
Other than this, they're going to the bowl.
It feels like a lot of reverse justification so that we can talk about it. Is what it sounds like. But again, I didn't do any texting for a week. About 2 weeks ago, I've been texting people nonstop for the last 10 days, and Myles Garrett's name hasn't come up. Other than, isn't this weird? And these are people who tip me off to some stuff. Let's put it that way. So. Again, it's not to say it can't happen. It's just to say that it doesn't sound like it is happening. And the idea that the Cleveland Browns are a buttoned-up organization that doesn't leak stuff. Like, the Browns are the leakiest organization in football. All they do is leak stuff. So it'd be a hell of a reversal for them to be able to keep this massive, I mean, I can't say franchise-altering trade because who can alter the Browns? But, like, for them to keep this quiet, wow, they really learned their lesson after 7 years of being the leakiest operation in the league.
I guess we'll find out on draft day if this guy's traded. Couple other things here that I think are interesting, and I'm going to share the screen on this one. This is the time of year where there's lots and lots and lots of speculation.
Yeah,
about what's out there and who's available,
thumbs and things of that nature,
and who's going where and how it all shakes out. Here's one 49er web zone. The 49ers are being heavily linked to Alabama offensive tackle Caden Proctor, but that's not the only draft twist. A new trade-up scenario offers some first-round intrigue.
Let me guess. A CBS Sports mock draft came up with an idea today.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, they do five fucking mock drafts a day. They have to come up with a new idea every 40 minutes.
I thought the whole thing on that was that there was an ESPN thing that the Niners would trade up, trade 2 4th-round picks to move up 3 or 4 spots for Denzel Boston. I mean, that to me seems very unlikely. You said, where does Bill Barnwell had his all trades mock draft.
Yeah,
and he had the
Bill
Niners
does a great job. Bill's guessing
27, 127 and 133 to move up to 23, and at 23 they would take Denzel Boston.
I'm sure all the numbers check out, but that's I'm not going to tell you it's not going to happen. I can just tell you that that's not something that I doubt it. I doubt it. Not to say they can't move up. Not to say they can't take Boston. It's again, we're just guessing. This is the problem with March and April. Nothing is actually happening, but the content machine still needs to be fed. So we just have guessing and conjecture. And when you have nothing else to counterbalance it to, the guessing and conjecture becomes some sort of fact. Like, this is a thing that's happening. They're just ideas. Some of them are good ideas. Most of them are crap ideas. It's just ideas. And it's not, not to say some of it can't happen, but it would be guessing that turned out to be true. So,
do you like Caden Proctor? Because I don't.
I do.
I'm not a Caden Proctor guy.
I do.
To me, this guy's got weight problem. He's not very good. The scouting reports on him really sounded bad.
I love his tape. I love his tape.
He's a big athletic guy for sure, but to me, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the weight issues, and I don't see I see a player that wasn't very good at Alabama. I mean, Alabama did not run.
He was first team All SEC at left tackle.
They didn't run the ball well this year. I mean,
their offensive coordinator was a scrub, and they fired their O-line coach for a reason.
I mean, they didn't run the ball.
I know.
And the
I don't think it was Proctor's fault when you watch the tape.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the tape, and I see a guy who I think is at best a right tackle. I think at best. I think if you said to me, where is he going to play in the NFL? I'd say he is a plug and play for sure starter at right guard. I think he's a right guard.
Right guard.
Yeah.
Not tackle.
I think he's a right guard. I think he's a guard. I think he's a guard who can play a little tackle, but I think, he looked bad early in the year. I mean, he admitted it. I saw interviews where he's like, hey man, I was just horrible. And the film is bad. Go look at September Alabama film. He got worked. Now he got better as the year went on, but he's not my favorite offensive lineman, especially when you factor in where he's probably going to go.
I really like him. I believe he's my number 1 rated tackle. Are we talking what? The UL Monroe game? What game stood out to you as bad tape?
I thought his first 3 games, the Florida State game.
Florida State game was awful for everybody, to be fair. I'll give him that. That.
Florida State he got worked. He got absolutely worked in that game.
Yeah.
I just don't like his profile. I think I don't want to take a gigantic guy with a weight problem. And I like him more than most of these guys. I don't like Monroe Freeling.
Nope.
I don't really like Francis Mauigoa. I think he's a right tackle or a guard. I think Monroe Freeling. I think Monroe Freeling's a left tackle, but I think needs a lot more work than people say.
So much work.
I like Fano quite a bit, but that to me, he's like the real safe guy.
Yep.
Proctor to me is a huge obese guy. Lomu, I'm not a big fan of Lomu, short arms, and I don't love I like the way he moves, but I don't see him moving anybody out of the way.
I'll give you that.
INHer has got great talent, and he could absolutely suck. And Blake Miller, well, I mean that's a little too too blanket for me. Blake Miller, I think, is a right tackle. I think Caleb Tiernan is a right tackle / swing tackle. The guys that I really like,
I like Tiernan more than most, but yeah,
I like Fano. First of all, this always happens with tackles. It's a group of guys, and then when you start going through it, it's like cotton candy. None of these guys can play. They're all prospects, and it's like I don't like any of them. The crown over guy from A&M looks too slow to me. Jude Bowery looks too slow to me. J.C. Davis looks underpowered to me. Trost, to me, looks like a guy who's going to struggle with pass protection. Burke is developmental. I mean, the only guys, there's like 3 tackles I like. I like Lomu. I like Fano, I should say, not Lomu. I like Fano. I think he's, plug and play. I really like him. I like the potential of Markel Bell as a right tackle because he's just absolutely the biggest, strongest. I mean, in a lot of ways, he's Mekhi Becton, but I think he's got a better overall approach. And I see a guy who cares more about his body and cares more about his game. So I like Markel Bell. And I love me some Austin Barber from Florida. That's probably the tackle that I like the most. But I don't like any of these guys. I went through, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, God, this guy can't move. This guy's a guard. This guy, I can see why this is such a hard position to fill because it's a gigantic nothing burger. If the Niners go offensive line in the first round, I am absolutely convinced it's going to be either Chase Bisontis, Vega Ione, or Jennings Dunker. I don't think
it will definitely not be Dunker.
I don't think there's any. I don't think
it won't be any of those
offensive
guys.
Line.
Bisontis, won't be any of those guys.
Bisontis, I think, is the most ready to outside of Ione. I think Bisontis is the guy that makes the most sense. If you're going to go offensive line.
Bisontis over Ione. I think Bisontis is a better player. Problem is you can't take a guard in the first round. Can't do it.
I think you can if it's a dominant player.
None of these guys are.
Well, Bisontis is nasty. I mean, first of all, I watch A&M every week. Bisontis is nasty.
I love Bisontis.
And he's a left guard, and they need a left guard. I mean, if you're looking for the most seamless player that you can get, Dunker's a right tackle that you're going to move to left guard.
Yeah, I don't like
the rest of these guys have issues. Pregnon, don't love him. He looks good. Farmer, worried about him off the field. I kind of like some of these road grader day 3 guards. I like Micah Morris. I like Jeremiah Wright. I like Armaj Reed Adams. I like some of those. I like Fabechi Weewoo. I like some of those guys on those day 3 interior players. But I think the Niners are unless Ione falls in their lap, I don't think they're going offensive line in round 1. And if they do, it's Chase Bisontis.
You cannot go guard in round 1 because of the 5th-year option. If you want to take one of those guys, you trade down into the second round, early second round, and you get
Yeah. But you might not be able to.
Well, it's then you've put yourself in a absolute jam because unless you believe that guy is your starting left guard, which I don't think that you can make the claim that any of these players have, can make that unfettered claim. Even Ione, who I'm much lower on than most, unless you believe they're immediate plug and play, an immediate Pro Bowl caliber player at guard, you can't take them. You can't take them because of the 5th-year option. You get only 3 years with them. And you then have to pay them you either have to extend them at a rate which is effectively a tackle's rate, or you have to give them a 5th-year option, which is tackle money. And
there's a lot of people that are advocating the Niners taking INHer or Blake Miller and trying to play these guys at guard, and they make it seem like it's just nothing.
Those two guys, they're definitely not guards.
INHer played at East Los Angeles Community College.
He's late
He is
to
a
football.
slow processor. Now, he's got great body. Great. I mean, maybe the greatest. He might, but this guy's either going to be great or he might not even be good.
That sounds like pick 27.
49ers cannot take an offensive. First of all, I don't think Ian Acher, if your plan is to draft Ian Acher and play him at guard, I think that's just absolutely a disaster.
No, it's not a good plan because he's not a guard. He's a tackle.
And everything happens so much faster inside, and he's kind of a slow processing guy. He doesn't know exactly what he's doing right now. He needs development. If the Niners had, great tackles and they had such a loaded roster and it was just like,
pretty good.
Take Ian Acher because Ian Acher could be the next Trent Williams in 3 years.
Yeah, he could be. Yeah.
But the bust potential, and he's not a guard. Blake Miller's not a guard.
No, he isn't.
I don't think Lomu's a guard.
He isn't.
I don't think Monroe Freeling absolutely is not a guard.
He won't even be available to him.
So to me, who can play guard? Maui Noah, but he's going to play tackle. Fano.
He's not there. Fano.
Your guy Proctor.
Yep.
And maybe Markel Bell.
Well, Bell's like a 4th, 5th round pick. I mean, Bell has no
developmental.
No.
I mean, Austin Barber can play tackle. Maybe your guy Trost could play some guard.
Listen. Once you get into the second round and beyond, or even we're talking Trost like 3rd round, like go to town, do whatever the hell you want. You want to take a developmental tackle in the 4th round? Have fun. Who gives a shit? It's the 4th round. But if you're taking somebody at 27, you have to have a role for them on day one, even if that's just sub-package pass rusher or left guard. You have to have a job for them on day one, and that's why I like Proctor, because I think that Proctor gives you a left guard option, if not, the go-to option immediately. You can play him as long as Trent is with them. And by the way, Trent's contract, everyone seems very optimistic. He's going to get a couple more years here, and he's going to play until 40. And then when Trent retires or they move on or whatever, whenever that contract will expire, then now you have your left tackle that you can just plug over there and see if that works. In worst case scenario, I think you have a damn good guard in Proctor. And best case scenario, you get a short-term win with a guard. And then the long-term win and the thing that you're going to be desperate to fill once Trent's done in that future left tackle. Because you're never replacing Trent Williams. There's no next Trent Williams, but you're going to need a left tackle. And I think Proctor can do both. He has the athleticism. And he has a weight issue. He was still first team all SEC with the weight issue. I'm not telling you it's going to get fixed, but if that's the thing you got to fix, it's a lot better than having to fix someone who can't play fucking football. That's what we're dealing with Monroe Freeling, who's not good. He's not a good football player, but he's got all these athletic testing scores.
Proctor's safe because, at the worst thing you could do is just plug him in at guard, and you've got this behemoth guard that moves incredibly well.
Yeah, you take a Monroe Freeling, you might never be able to play him. Especially if you're the Niners, where you don't have a job for him to start, and then you might realize, like, oh, damn, like, we can't play him. He's not good enough. Too much lean. Doesn't know what to do with his hands. His footwork is all over the place. Oh, but he can run real fast. He's absolutely an underwear all-star, and maybe he develops, right? Like, you get a good offensive line coach, maybe he develops into the right guy. But teams are putting massive draft capital, if these mock drafts are to be believed, into a guy like Freeling, or at least with ASU, the guy there, like that's a late first round pick. That's when you feel good about maybe taking a shot. But with Freeling, and people are suggesting him going at 6. It's like, what are we doing here?
Oh my God! So
it's
way over the top.
It's a very deep tackle class, but it's not top heavy. You don't have the obvious wins when it comes to tackle. So it's going to come down to what your offensive line coach likes. And in all likelihood, that means for the 49ers, they'll take somebody on day 3.
Yeah. They like, undersized guys that sprint off the ball.
Yeah.
Though I will say this Austin Barber kid, the Florida film, I thought was fantastic. As far as you see the aggression in this guy, there was several times he just finishes. I love the way he finishes blocks.
I think he led the SEC in penalties last year. He reminds me of Trevor Penning.
Yeah, I really like him. I think he's got potential. He's got long arms. He's got the scouting reports were good. The film looks good.
If we want to talk, round 3, that's a hell of a pick.
No, I'm thinking round 4.
Oh yeah, then by all means. But if we're talking, and I've heard the suggestion, and who the hell knows, maybe an early day 2 guy, kind of a top 50 pick like that. That's out of the realm for me. But if we're talking,
I'm saying fourth round. I'm saying grab him in the fourth round. NFL rumors says the 49ers the Chiefs have interest in trading for Trent Williams. John Lynch came out the other day and said, we're really close to something. We're on the precipice of something very good with Trent Williams, which I think we all assumed was some kind of a extension, rework deal. And yet,
what the fuck is NFL trade rumors? They're going to put a name to this, or are they just going to say something, get some engagement, and move on?
I don't know, but I just saw that right before the show. What do you make of Trent Williams? Is Trent Williams... he's not going to go to the OTAs. He did go to the OTAs last year. I personally don't care if he ever goes to OTAs.
Yeah.
But, once again, it's like, you're going to have a guy who's going to be bad early, and then he's going to have to work his way into shape. And then it's like, it's a kind of we're starting to see a pattern. He's a great player, but he makes a ton of money.
Yeah.
And it seems like the Niners haven't necessarily gotten the best football out of him at times. What is your read on Trent Williams?
This is
where he's at.
It's the same song and dance, and the only thing I can tell people is this is the last time you're going to have to do it. That's it. It's the same song and dance as ever. The Niners knew it was coming. That's why the guarantee date was so early. They moved, they decided not to pick up the $10 million. They just know how Trent operates. They know how his agent, who basically just works for Trent, operates. They're very good at getting every ounce of water out of the stone. They know the ball game. Trent knows that he doesn't have this terribly robust market. They also knows that the guarantee date, as it was previously constructed, basically prevented any realistic trade possibilities. I'm sure there's a ton of teams in the NFL who want Trent Williams. Why wouldn't you? Let him play out his contract, whatever. Like that seems like a great thing. What an awesome pickup that would be to get Trent Williams, who'd probably be very motivated to have a great year. The Niners are going to re-sign him, and the only thing I can say is this is the last time you're going to have to do it, because this is his last 49ers contract. To whatever degree it goes to, whether it's 2 years or 7 years with a bunch of voids, like this is the last time we're going to do it, and everyone knows it. So they're going to try to get it right on all sides. And what's the rush? What's the rush? The dude doesn't have to have this thing dealt with until like the end of August, as it has always been done with Trent Williams. And it always turns out pretty damn well, because the Niners are still interested in keeping Trent Williams, and apparently a lot of other teams would be interested in the same problem.
Very interesting stuff coming out of Mayoko right now. I get the feeling that Matt gets fed stuff. He had a tweet the other day where he said, the 49ers will not draft an offensive lineman until the 4th round. Okay.
Sure, that makes sense to me.
It was a one-sentence tweet.
Yeah.
And, it's like, okay, that sounds right. Then he came back this last week and said the 49ers could go offensive guard in the first round. And then Nick Wagner's kind of saying the same stuff. Now, today, Mayoko came out with the 49ers, he believes, are not satisfied with Jair Brown and could target a safety in the first round. That's
not new, to be fair.
We always get this situation where it's like the Niners have their perceived needs and then their actual needs. If you look really closely at their roster, their actual needs for starters, they need a starting left guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I think that they have pretty good options there, but they do not have a clear-cut starter now.
Who would you say is the best?
Who's the guy they just got? Sorry,
Robert Jones.
Robert Jones. I really like Robert Jones compared to most.
Okay, so he's on his third team or whatever. I mean, is he the best option? He's a total nothing street free agent, late round pick guy.
Well, he's coming off an injury, but he is definitely not a nothing when you watch the 24 film. I mean,
I like his film. I'm just saying, as far as his stature in the game, he's not considered to be
he's not entitled to the starting job. No, he'll have to win a competition, but I imagine he would win.
The question then is, do they need a starting left guard? Is Jair Brown and Marquise Siegel, are they unsure of those guys? Do they need a starting safety? Is it a strong safety? Is it a free safety?
Who knows?
I mean, you have Malik Mustafa. Isn't he better in the box than he is down the field? I know he can do a little bit of everything, but I think he's better in the box.
I agree. I mean, also, they don't have a true free safety on the roster. That was a huge issue for them last year. Maybe Siegel is that guy. They seem to like playing him more in the box. That was also a Robert Saleh special. And so there's part of me that wonders, and I haven't gotten any strong feedback one way or another. So I'm just going to run with this for now. This is just an idea because that's what we're doing at this time of the year. But like, it does seem to me as if Raheem Morris, who his specialty is in the secondary, and in particular with finding really good safeties. Maybe he finds somebody he really likes in this draft. They take him, and he's in the mix. But it does seem with the young talent, a lot of which I think most Niners fans would feel have used up their opportunities already, that they might wait and see at safety because there are some young guys there, and there are some talented players there, and maybe don't jump into something that's long term, either with Justin, or even just don't jump into something that's a little bit more permanent, kind of play it out in training camp. Because the beauty of safety is there's always like pretty decent NFL quality veteran safeties available mid-August. I don't know why the entire league has decided that this position is unimportant. It seems to be vitally important every single December, January, and February. But the entire league has basically just said that safeties suck and we don't have to pay them. And maybe they should get together like the running backs did a couple of years ago and create some sort of minor union and get that pay up, because I think that they're hella important, but it's just not how the league views it. So I don't think that they feel a pressing need. Maybe they love somebody in the draft. Maybe they don't. It's probably a good safety draft. I have a very hard time evaluating safeties, even with all 22 film, because it's so difficult to understand what they're being asked to do at the college level other than kind of just stand there. But we'll see. I haven't gotten the sense from anybody that I've talked to around the league, people whose job it is to know what's up with the 49ers, that they're terribly involved in a safety market of any sort, be that draft or particularly with free agency.
I think it makes sense that they would be. I mean, Raheem Morris,
sure.
You could make an argument, drafted the two best safeties in last year's draft. I mean, I thought Xavier Watts, I think Xavier Watts was the all
fantastic
rookie team safety and great
fantastic
player at Notre Dame. And then he found Billy Bowman at Oklahoma, and both those guys, I think, are future starters in the NFL.
No question.
So maybe Raheem's got an eye for it. And the names
that's the idea.
Mayoko threw out, he threw out a few names. He threw out Dylan Thieneman, Oregon, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, Toledo.
Yeah.
He threw out AJ Halsey, LSU.
Mm-hmm.
He threw out Bud Clark, TCU.
Yeah.
And then he threw out Jalen Kilgore, South Carolina. And I think that was it. I think those were the guys he mentioned. A lot
of box safeties there.
Who do you like? I mean, who do you like at safety? Thieneman sure covers a lot of ground, but I think there's some flaws in his game. McNeil Warren, that program is really developing some very nice players. Halsey is an old school thumper, right? He's the 1980s guy. He's the Joey Browner, David Fulcher. He's 220 pounds. He'll hit you, but he also can run. Clark is the other way. He's very linear, like a corner, but he's probably the best coverage player. He has, at least from what I could tell, the film I watched, there was the least amount of space with Bud Clark. He's a 3-time captain. Yeah. But I'll tell you, the guy that I love is Jalen Kilgore. And I'm looking at Draft Tech. Draft Tech has him at 125 overall, the 11th best safety. And I just see a player that I think is really, really special. I mean, he's 6'1". He was listed at 219. They list him now at 210. So he's obviously dropped some LBs. Yep. But this guy ran a 4.4 flat 40. Mm-hmm. This program is producing crazy athletes. And I think this guy is one of them. I think I think Kilgore is really special. I think Kilgore
is a great athlete.
I think he's fast enough to play. I think he's a guy that is athletic enough and fast enough to actually cover and be a corner. But I think he also hits and comes up and hits with more power than most of the than D Winters. I mean, this guy's a hitter. Yeah. This guy's a big time hitter. To me, I would use him as a speed strong side linebacker in some kind of sub package. I'd use him for the Niners the same way the Mike McDonald is using Eman Wari. I think this guy, he doesn't have quite the peaks and valleys of Eman Wari, but it's the same kind of deal. I mean, this is a very similar player in that big physical, but fast as hell. And to me, South Carolina guys, I love this kid, and I love that defensive tackle this year they got. I think next year of all the quarterbacks, I like Sellers.
Yes,
I think South Carolina, Dieter, is recruiting just some of the most athletic players in the country.
Then they don't know what the hell to do with them, but that's a point for another day. I'm with you, but again, box safety. I mean, this guy is like a Jaden Hicks type player. He's in the slot. You know, you can say he's like an Eman Wari light. The Niners have enough of those guys. Like, what they need is a damn free safety. They need a center fielder. This whole defense can't work unless you have a center fielder. You need to have someone playing safety instead of having a bunch of guys who are good big nickels and a bunch of guys who can play Sam linebacker in a sub package.
So does that mean Bud Clark? I mean,
kind of, but I don't see Bud Clark in that way. Maybe it means a Genesis Smith. Like, it's a tough class for that once you get past Downs and Thieneman. Emmanuel McNeil Warren strikes me more as who did I comp him to? Apologies. I have him like a Jeremy Chin type.
He's a linebacker. I mean,
Kamari Ramsey out of USC. Better. I got him to Andrew Sendejo. I mean, again, just box maulers. AJ Halsey. I mean, early stage Jabril Peppers, where he's just in there and scrapping and fighting. A lot of guys who are really fun near the ball, and a lot of guys who you want in that kind of hook and flat area. If you need somebody like that, this is a great draft for you, because between rounds 2 and 4, there's going to be like 6 of them. But if you're looking for somebody who can actually cover a tremendous amount of space and allow you to play cover 3, or at least or even cover 1 if you want to get saucy with it, at a reasonable rate, there's just not that many options. The guy I like is VJ Payne out of Kansas State. That's a big bet. He's a day 3 guy. So if there was an obvious option outside of Downs and Thieneman, I think that the Niners would be mocked to him 100 times over. But neither of those guys is expected to get to the Niners at 27, and I don't think they're trading up for a safety.
Who do you think their safety is going to be?
I think they're going to roll with the guys that they have, and they'll probably sign a veteran free agent in the middle of training camp, and that guy will come in and start. Somebody probably with experience with Raheem. And if I was a more prepared person, I'd tell you who that person was.
Who is your favorite edge rusher in this class? Arvell Reese, Bailey, Bain, those 3 guys for sure will be off the board. The Niners could be looking at a board that includes Keldrick Falk, TJ Parker, Cassius Howell, Akeem Mesidor, Gabe Yakis, maybe. R. Mason Thomas, Malachi Lawrence, Dennis Sutton, Zion Young, Derek Moore, Romello Height. There's a lot of guys there. Some of them are undersized guys. This is another area where Raheem Morris did really well last year. You got Jalen Walker, you got James Pierce.
Don't ask about the James Pierce pick. Well, he didn't give up another first rounder for that guy at all, and didn't do much for him when he was on the field.
He had 10 sacks. Didn't he?
And they.
For the Niners, that sure looks pretty good. I mean, they had 20.
I'm just telling you, you watch some of those sacks, and they didn't inspire a lot of confidence that that's going to be a repeatable number. But I digress. I'm a Falk man, but that's.
Are you? He didn't have very good sack production.
He was much better the year before. I think he had 7 sacks the year before. I just don't think that you can.
He's pretty badass.
It's unbelievable. You watch him and you're like, wow, first off, I'm big on Michael Williams in general, and I maintain it. If you want to sell me the stock, I'll buy all you can. But when you watch him, you're like, man, that's kind of Michael-like. And then you're like, what do you mean he's 20 pounds heavier? Like, he's crazy long. He's playing at like 280. You would never guess it. And when they actually, DJ Durkin committed war crimes as the defensive coordinator of Auburn last year. I cannot stand watching their tape. But it does.
He got outplayed by the other guy.
Keyron Crawford's a guy that I'm big on. I really like Keyron Crawford.
Yeah, I did too.
And imagine if they would have let him rush the passer instead of dropping him to linebacker snap after snap. I mean, it speaks to his athleticism that they're like, let's play that guy at linebacker while he lines up on the edge. But again, DJ Durkin, straight to the Hague. Falk, I can buy Romello Height after round 2. I like Zion Young. I do not think he's worthy of 27, but I don't think he gets to him at 58. I'm a big Gabe Jacas guy. I think that if he's there at 58, that is an unbelievable.
But not at 27.
I don't think Jackas can go at 27 for the same reason that Young can't go at 27. It's just not well-rounded enough. And, to speak positively of them, they're not well-rounded enough in terms of just being like a straight pass rusher. They're more, 5 techniques, first and second down guys. But if you kind of have to release the hounds, they don't have that same sort of a thing. They don't have that same bend. They're not going to win as much one-on-one. It's a lot of bull rush. I prefer that infinitely to a guy like an R. Mason Thomas or Danny Dennis Sutton, who's just soft, or a Joshua Josephs, or Caden Curry to a degree, or certainly a Malachi Lawrence, who are guys who there's no bag. It's just speed rush. Hope this works out. A Cassius Howell. Just hope this works. If I don't have the jump off the line, it's kind of over. Which is ironically kind of what the Niners might need for this upcoming year. But if you're drafting with any scope beyond this year, you're going to want the more well-rounded player, because at some point Nick Bosa is not going to be worth what you're paying him, and you're going to have to move on, and you're going to have an alternative in-house, because you can't just be drafting and hoping you're replacing Nick Bosa. So it's a good defensive end class. It's a lot of one-trick ponies with differing tricks. Again, I prefer a Jackas. I prefer a Young. I think Messidor has to be my guy, but I'm concerned about the age. I'm concerned about the injuries. But he's a hell of a football player. I just don't know if the ceiling is as high as I want it to be, but I think that's getting nitpicky when the alternatives are guys who I just don't think are well-rounded football players. Or to become a well-rounded football player, they're going to have to really show something at an NFL level that they weren't able to consistently exemplify at the college level, like in the case of a Young, showing another move or two, or in the case of a Jackas, not just running through people's faces. It's super fun and awesome. They'll have a career. They'll be good football players, but it's just a lot of 5 techniques. And then kind of once you get out of round 3, it falls off a cliff at that position. So, but we're also talking about a draft where David Bailey's going to go early, and I don't think Bailey is a 3-down player either. The only guy that I love at defensive end in this class is Bain. I mean, I'll do anything for Ruben Bain. He ain't coming anywhere near the 49ers, but that guy, I'm convinced, is a 3-down menace for 10 years to come.
He's going forward.
I don't know if he's going to Tennessee, but he's going in the top 10 without a question. He's just too damn good of a football player.
Robert Saleh's going to take him forward.
I'm still very open to Romello Height. There's a lot of people that aren't as in on him. I think, we see the success of like a Nick Herbig in Pittsburgh. I think there's a lot of similarities there to him. He was one of the better defensive ends in football. He has a nose for it. I'm kind of going off of
that's the shortest arm defensive end in the game right now is Herbig.
Yeah, I think Height actually has shorter arms. But clearly I'm not that concerned about short arms this year because of Bain.
Romello Height is... he's like a spider coming off the edge. I really like him too. To me, the guys that I really like the most. Obviously I love Bain. Bain's amazing.
Unbelievable.
But I do love the production of Cassius Howell. But my whole thing, if you're going to be a 6'2" or shorter rusher,
right,
power has got to be a big element of your game. There's no such thing as a short speed rusher. I can't think of all the years I've been doing this. I can't think of
Clavon Chason then. Like, what are we doing?
I can't think of anybody who's 6'2" or shorter.
Do you know how hard it was for me to find a comp?
Well, to me, he's...
it took me 2 hours.
I would say Cassius Howell reminds me of the guy who was at the Eagles who was amazing, Hugh Douglas.
Wow, that's extremely high praise. Hugh Douglas could play with some serious power, though.
Yeah, but Hugh Douglas is the same size. You're talking about a 6'1", 260-pound
You could even say Brandon Graham, who followed Hugh Douglas, right? Like, you could do that realm, except
faster.
Much faster. That's the thing. That's his whole game. It's just speed. It's the same thing with an R. Mason Thomas. I hear these people. I read these. I'll be specific. I read the scouting reports. I'm not asking people about R. Mason Thomas. My mind's made up on him. But I read these scouting reports where like, oh, he's really good against the run. And then you watch the tape, And you're like, you mean when the running back runs directly into the hole he stunted into? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? He's not good against the run. He got schemed up by Venables, who's unbelievable and like the only good defensive coordinator in college football. Like,
this guy's really tough and he's really quick. And in college, 6'2", 241 pounds, he could be a menace. But that in the college, in the NFL, he's going to get engulfed, and the short levers are going to burn him.
Marquise
I mean, I think he's going to be good, but nothing great. I like Yakis.
Yep.
I like Bain.
Yep.
Yakis I love because he's got that wrestling background, and then the unbelievable 159 on the 10-yard split. 159.
He's Boye Mafe with heavy hands.
At 6'4", 260, this guy is really quick.
Yep.
So I love him. And then I'm a big Derek Moore fan from Michigan. I thought Moore really looked good. He's lighter than some of these rushers, but I think the power in his hands is unbelievable. Yeah. And that rep at the Senior Bowl where he just went right through Markel Bell was just savage. And it's just I can't get that one out of my mind. I love Derek Moore as like a third round guy. Yeah. Let me show you my mock. Let me show you the mock.
He reminds me a lot of like a
maybe
squatty Sam Hubbard. It's kind of like a light Dwayne Smoot. He's just a 5-tech. There's nothing wrong with that. I love 5-techs. They're my favorite kind of defensive ends. It's just they don't need any more 5-techs.
This is the mock that I did last that I like the most.
Did you print that out?
I did. Kristen Miller. I like Kristen Miller. I like Derek Moore. I mean, I like all these guys, especially where they're at. But Miller,
at 270,
the more I watch Miller, the more I think that is going to be a guy. You know who Miller reminds me of?
Who?
He reminds me of a poor man's Bryant Young. He's got a great body for the game. They play him at nose guard at 310 pounds because he's got great strength, and
Absolutely.
he just doesn't give any ground.
Right.
And I love the health, the motor. He's tight with Mikkel. You said you love Mikkel. This guy is Mikkel's best buddy.
Yeah.
I think this guy is.
He's a good football player.
I think he would start. I think he would start over Collins. I think it would be West and Miller. But also, a lot of people are saying, oh, they don't need this position. But they said goodbye to Jordan Elliott. They said goodbye to Kalia Davis. They love these defensive tackles. They were at the Georgia Pro Day. This guy's got a healthy body. He's 6'4", 320. He's strong. He's pound for pound, very strong.
He's Daquan Jones. I
think this is a really good player. I think there's also
I'm not sure 27 is the right spot for that, to be fair.
I mean, in an ideal world, I would trade from 27 to 35 and take him. But okay. I like him. I think if you ask me,
got to act on conviction.
John Lynch was at Athens to see this guy. It's either this guy or C.J. Allen. What do you think? What do you think of this guy? What do you think of C.J. Allen?
I think C.J. Allen's a wonderful linebacker. He's a true Mike, which I'm not sure where they stand on linebacker, to be blunt. I would probably be looking more in the will department to then slide over. But I'm not even sure. I mean, how many more years? I mean, Bobby Wagner was playing up until last year. I think you have to expect Fred to just be around forever. I don't think you should be looking to go replace him in maybe the same way that you should be thinking about that with Bosa coming off a third ACL, or certainly a Trent given his age.
You might not play C.J. Allen very much this year.
Yeah, at 58, I don't mind it. He's not going to be there at 58. Again, 27, you got to have a role for him on day one. Yeah, even if you have a longer term trajectory that's a little bit more highfalutin, you got to be able to figure out a way to get him on the field beyond special teams. So, again, would it be a good pick? Totally contextual. I don't think it would make a lot of sense for the Niners, given that they do have needs at 27. There's a lot of good Georgia players, though. That's the thing. Like you could take both of their tight ends. You can take two of their wide receivers. There's not a position. You go to Georgia because they put 15 guys in the league every year, right? Including very good players like Kristen Miller. So I don't know if, John Lynch, skipping Stanford's pro day with their one NFL player to go visit Georgia should be considered some sort of
If you like Mikael Williams, you like Kristen Miller.
And I never said I don't like Kristen Miller. I just think
I'm just saying for John Lynch, who drafted Mikael Williams.
Oh, yeah.
If he drafted Mikael Williams. Mikael Williams and Kristen Miller are very similar guys. They're badass dudes who are right now better against the run than they are against the pass.
Yeah.
Everything that they are as pass rushers is in the future. It's more of a projection. But what's real is their unbelievable strength and ability to anchor and be really good against the run. So I just look at Miller as going, I really like Miller in this mock if they can work a deal for Myles Garrett. Like if they really are working
with their first round pick that they certainly wouldn't have in that.
Well, no, my point is if they could somehow make a deal and not move this one. Let's say they could move the number 2 pick and next year's first, second, and third and a conditional pick or a player. Sure. Let's say you could somehow make this deal without the one. I think Kristen Miller, and then you take Derek Moore out, that pick goes to the Browns. You throw in Myles Garrett. If you added Myles Garrett and Kristen Miller to the Niner front, I think that would be what they're looking for.
You now almost have too many good defensive linemen in that scenario.
But you're back. In fairness, it's not like O-line. The backup O-linemen never play. The backup D linemen are going to play maybe as much or more than the starting O-linemen. What do you think of the rest of that draft? By the way, I want your thoughts on
I don't like
and Damon Claiborne and Kilgore.
Again, Kilgore is a fun in the box safety, very athletic, clearly has a nose for the football. I think he's a good football player. I'm not sure about his fit with the 49ers. Let me pull up my comp on Barber. Apologies. I think I said it earlier. Who'd I compare him to? He had a lot of penalties. Trevor Penning, just mean SOB, but derogatory, like mean SOB. Just he's more
after the whistle.
He's more convinced about I need to kill this man in front of me than, technique or other things of that nature. And that's great if you need some sort of a tone setter. That's not really how the Niners go about their business. Who else did you have? Apologies. I should have.
Owewu and Damon Claiborne. What do you think of Claiborne from Wake Forest, the running back?
Yeah, you remember those 5 games that Jerick McKinnon was healthy in his career? That's Damon Claiborne. That's who that is. That's my comp. It's Jerick McKinnon in those 5 games in his entire NFL career when he was healthy. It's not to speak on Claiborne's ability to stay healthy or not. It's just that they're so very similar in terms of their scat backiness, if you will. I like Claiborne a lot. I don't like him enough to make him sort of my day 3. This is my favorite running back. The guy that I always have a defensive tackle and a running back every year on day 3 that I'm like, that's my guy. That's the dude. I want it to be Claiborne. I can't get over the hump with Claiborne. The fumble issue is a little bit too concerning, but I can absolutely understand why the Niners would be interested because, again, there's a lot of Jerick McKinnon there, and Kyle gave Jerick McKinnon more chances than he should have, given the injury history there. And he kept the job in the league a lot longer than he should have because of his injury history. So I think that's actually a pretty sage pick there by you, Lair.
Who is the running back in your mind that fits the Niners? And do they take them? Do they take him in the 4th? They're not going to take him early. Do they take him in the 4th round? Do they take him after the draft? Because I've got a couple guys that I think are perfect fits, but I got to get your thoughts on. Because it's an interesting group. I mean, there's a bunch of backs. There are guys that have receiving skills. Shanahan made a very interesting comment the other day where he said that he probably would have used a backup back if he had somebody more similar to CMC. I don't know if I buy that because
yeah, good luck with that.
Guerrero, as a receiver, they didn't use him, and Jordan James can catch. They didn't use him.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the only good option available to the Niners, as I see it, would be Jadarian Price if he were to somehow fall to like 58. I think Price is the second best running back in this class. I don't think it's actually particularly close. I think it's Love and then his backup are the 2 best running backs in this class. And I think that once you get past like Roman Hemby, I don't think I'm looking here. I mean, do I only have like 12
I like Keelan
draftable
Black.
draft? I think I only have 12 draftable running backs. This
Well-
is a bad running back class. It's a tough one. I do like Jamari Taylor. I think Jamari Taylor's a good player. Kind of a Chase Edmonds type. Who else do I like? Price I think is fantastic. Like I don't see it at all with Jonah Coleman. I think he's just Samaje Perine 2.0. Katron Allen is like kind of a Kareem Hunt, but not really. It's a really tough one. I think Mike Washington has Isaac Garendo written all over him, where it's like, well, if you were such a outlier athlete, why the hell didn't you look any good at Arkansas? It's a tough one. Taylor, you could talk me into, but it's a tough one. I would go with Jadarian Price at 58 if he was there, but I don't think he'll be there.
It's a good one. That's a good one. And you don't think he's going to be at 58? You think he's going to go high round 2?
I think that most teams, this is a guess. I haven't had a conversation with anybody about this, but my guess is that most teams see how rough this running back class is, and it's going to put kind of like an offensive lineman premium or a quarterback premium on Price, because people are talking about Jonah Coleman as like a second round pick. Jonah Coleman's not good. Like I don't know what to tell people. Like they have a lot of guys who could be like late stage Tevin Colemans in this draft class. That's not to say those aren't valuable players, but you shouldn't be using serious capital on those guys. And like Emmett Johnson doesn't do it for me. Emmett Johnson's like Eno Benjamin, just kind of a receiving first back. I really don't like this running back class. So I think that Price, who would probably in most years be late third round, early fourth round, kind of a flyer guy, I think his price is going to get, pun intended, jacked up pretty significantly because he's so much clearly better than the rest of this second tier.
You know, it's an interesting group to me when you get to day 3. I think Keelan Black from Indiana is a culture shifting type player. I love how hard he runs. I love, there's bigger backs, there's faster backs, there's better backs.
Who would you compare him to?
Well, I mean,
Because if you're not getting all the snaps, it's hard to shift a culture.
I love the heart of Keelan Black. I mean, go watch him in the All-Star games.
No.
He literally carried the pile on consecutive carries like 10, 11 yards after contact. To me, you can feel his will. He's not a great player as far as a great talent, but he's got great will. He's great toughness. And running back, the will of a great running back, I mean, I think it's an underrated aspect of great football. So I really like Keelan Black. I told you I like Damon Claiborne for the explosive big play ability. To me, if you're saying give me a couple of Niner fits, I got 2 Niner fits that I think are really good.
Okay.
One is Jam Miller. He's only fumbled twice in his career. He is the ultimate in stonewall blocker. If Bobby Turner is ever going to put another running back on the field, that guy sure as hell better never fumble,
right? And
he better block. And Jam Miller does both. And I think Jam Miller, he's 200 and anywhere between 210 and 220. He's really strong. And there's more instinctive backs for sure, but as far as if you just want a back to sit there and pass protect, and this guy will put a stripe on a stripe and just bury you. This guy is, he doesn't try to hit, he doesn't go low, he doesn't play a shoulder, he doesn't go off on an angle. It's freaking stripe on a stripe right through you. Powerhouse. I mean, he reminds me a little bit of Garrison Hurst, a little bit of Frank Gore.
I mean,
we're talking about 5'10", 210 with power. No, I'm talking about blocking. I'm just talking about as a blocker. I love Jam Miller's blocking. His blocking has got to be his best trait. He's an amazing blocker. But to me, the guy who I've stumbled on,
DJ Dallas,
I don't know. DJ Dallas sucks. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, prime Corey Clement. Like,
I think Jam Miller is going to be better than those guys. You don't think?
I really.
In that level?
The problem was there's all the things that you said. I do agree with Jam Miller. My concern with Jam Miller is that he's kind of objectively a shitty running back. I kept trying to find the tape where I'm like, there's more there. He can't see it. He can't hit it. He's not a good running back. And, you were going in on how they couldn't run the football at Alabama, and I agree with you. They couldn't. And part of it was Miller and the fact that no one could take Miller's job. And anything that they did block, which wasn't a tremendous amount this past year because their guards sucked and their center, who is too light. They were doing two different schemes at the same time. It was a hot mess. I'm starting to think Ryan Grubb might not know what he's doing. But you watch Miller and you're like, oh no, there's no instinct there. He's just kind of a third down grunt. And they turn their entire running game into just swing passes, which is fun. I kept looking for it being like, oh, there's more. When he gets to the pros and he gets to like a competent offensive line system and they are blocking, coherently, it will all come to fruition. And I couldn't find that tape, and damned if I didn't look for it. So he's just kind of a shitty running back, and doesn't mean he's not good at those other things, but those other things don't really matter if you're not good at running back.
I hear you, but I do think he's a better player than what we saw this year at running back.
Maybe.
I mean, he had injuries. They had a bunch of guys. He never really got in the flow. He had some good moments, but the things that he brings to the table, are top shelf. I mean, he's as good a blocker as there is. He's very, very strong. He runs in the 4.4s. We'll see.
Yeah.
You're right, though. If he was a good running back, he would go
in this class. In this class, he can make a lot of money. Yeah.
Instead, he's going to go. I think there's a chance he doesn't get drafted.
That's where I'm at, because again, the vision. And listen, if they want to go in on they want to go in round 7 and just say, let's take a flyer. They want to pay him a little bit of money as a UDFA. Go to town. Like, that's great, because you're not paying anything to get somebody who might have something there once he, and again, I can't believe I'm saying this, once he gets out of Alabama. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Where it's like, kind of like George Kittle. Like, hey, once you get him out of Iowa, he can really let his hair down and be a stallion. Like, maybe Jam Miller is that guy. I keep wanting to believe that. I keep looking for these glimpses. I just want a little taste of it, just so that I can extrapolate it beyond all reason. And I can't find it, Lair. I can't find it, to the point where I'm with you. I don't think he gets drafted.
No, I think he might be undrafted. Now, he would not be the first guy that I want as an undrafted running back. That would be this guy. That's this guy right here.
Okay. Underwear all-star?
Here we go. This is a good football player. This is Jamal Haynes from Georgia Tech running his 40. Here he is at his pro day. As you can see, he's pretty thickly muscled running back from G Tech.
Yeah.
He's pretty jacked.
He might work out.
Yeah, he's pretty jacked. And he's a good player. Why do I like this player? Well, first of all, he played at 5'9", 190. But what you just saw there was supposedly him running at 207 pounds. He supposedly put on 17 pounds.
That's something.
Okay, that's something. So now he's 207. He ran a 40-yard dash, which was 4.51, ninth best of any of the backs at Indy. But his 20-yard shuttle was the fastest of any running back at the combine this year. So the 20-yard shuttle to me in the running back means more than the 40-yard dash. This guy's got great quickness. He had a 36-inch vert, which would have been sixth best in Indy. He's got elite agility. If you watch his film, he's very, very strong. 21 reps of 225.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Loganville, Georgia, which is a hotbed for athletes. 3-star high school athlete. They won the state title his senior year. He's a runner. He's a receiver. He is a converted wide receiver. And so he really does catch the ball very naturally. He's durable. He played all 13 games this year. He loves to play special teams. He begged the G-Tech coaches to put him on the special teams unit. Super competitive kid, lightning quick acceleration. If you check his game log for the last 3 years, you're going to find, 3, 4, 5, 100-yard days each year. He's got deceptive power. If Shanahan really does want a running back who he doesn't have to invest a high pick in, or maybe any pick, who maybe has some similar traits to CMC, I like Jamal Haynes. He really did a nice job at G-Tech. In the North Carolina game, He burst up the middle in the fourth quarter with about 4 minutes left and took it to the house. It was like a 66-yarder.
Yeah,
he went
I watched
untouched.
A lot of GT. They were a fun team.
Yeah, obviously he was, Keelan Rutledge was blocking for him, and Rutledge is, I think, a really good player. But this kid is just beneath the radar. ACC back, who 5'9", 190, yeah, it's a little too small. But when you look at 21 reps at 225, that is strength. And when you look at 36-inch vert, and then the fact that he put on good muscle and still ran the best short shuttle, or the best shuttle, not short shuttle. The short shuttle's 10. This is the 20-yard shuttle.
Right.
But he had the best 20-yard shuttle of any back in the draft.
Not
durable.
To be fair, not a good 20-yard shuttle draft. I mean, usually you want guys below 4.41. He's going 4.25 and getting serious accolades.
But
he's Boston Scott.
Really, what you see is well, Boston Scott might be a little heftier, like a little thicker. Like
they're both coming into the league at like 5'7", 205, man.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has, I don't know if he's a powerhouse. I think Boston Scott can move the pile a little bit, but I think this guy's a better, more sure-handed, more talented receiver, because the converted wide receiver.
Boston Scott was a hell of a receiver. Let's
yeah, I mean, I think him as I don't think him as a receiver, but this kid,
third down back.
But I mean, as far as his frame, like he's like compact frame. This
guy's
kid,
the same height,
but this guy plucks it with his hands. This guy gives you a nice target.
He's good.
Boston Scott is thick. Boston Scott's 5'9", 210, right? He's big.
Boston Scott. Jamal Haynes pro day 5'6", 7/8", 195 pounds. Boston Scott's pro day 5'6.5", 195 pounds.
Okay, all right. Well,
Boston Scott's 10-yard split 152. Jamal Haynes 145.
They said he was running that day, and they're like, yeah, he was 190, and now he's weighing 207. That's what they said.
I mean, that's impressive. But Boston Scott had a better vertical. They both benched 21. Boston Scott had a better 20-yard shuttle. I think that the Boston Scott comp might not feel fun, but
I think that Boston Scott is thicker than that.
They wore wider shoulder pads at the time.
I kind of think of him as a heavier back than that. Maybe he was just small.
Boston Scott was a tiny little dude who just played like the meanest son bitch who ever lived, which is
this guy is tough as nails. I mean, this is I've seen Jamal Haynes get absolutely smoked, and he just he keeps rolling. So I mean, we're talking about an undrafted player. We're not.
No, I think what team?
That's a good one.
What Boston Scott in his prime with the Eagles, every team in football would have been like, yeah, I want that guy to be my third down back. Jamal Haynes. When I say, he's Boston Scott, that is a high compliment. Boston Scott's a hell of a football player. So
he really was.
I'm in.
Yeah, Jamal Haynes. So that's and G-Tech's an underrated program.
Absolutely.
Really.
I'm not as high on Rutledge as you are, but they, listen. He might get drafted just because Gibbs didn't show a lot at G-Tech, and then guess what?
It's funny. I've had a couple people, and you probably get this sometimes too.
Yeah.
You give opinions about these guys, and then I only talk about the players I like. I don't sit there because I don't have to. I don't have to ever. I don't have to analyze every single player.
I often
don't work for a team.
I often get the other stance, but that's just me.
That what?
I only bitch about players.
Okay, so my whole thing is this: I love everybody because I'm just gathering people, and to me, that's the process. Because when you watch college football in real time, most of the guys are future bankers. Most of the guys aren't playing. So you need to most of the people you're watching can't play dead. So you have to, and that going in. So I'm always looking for just who opens my eyes, who actually shows me that they're a player and can play. So I go from that category of all season long, I'm just gathering this guy, gathering that guy. Then once I've got the list of the guys that I like, which is usually, about 100 out of 1,000 guys that are going to be in the draft, eligible, maybe 100 I might like, maybe it's 75, somewhere like that. Then I start going through and really watching them. And now I'm in my mode this time of year is I hate everybody. Because the reality is that most of the guys are going to bust. So you have to be able, and the draft is about identifying false favorites. So you have to be able to identify who's going to bust, why are they going to bust? And so I wind up disliking a lot of guys this time of year because that I liked previously, because now I'm watching them more. Now I'm going through them with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah.
And I see, as I told you, lots of the tackles look like guards, So many of the running backs, aren't good fits. I mean, there's all kinds of.
It's a difference between you're comparing them to nobodies, and now you have to compare them to guys in the NFL. It's a lot. The standard is significantly higher. I mean, college football generally. I love college football maybe more than anything in a recreational sense. I love college. My wife hates me during the fall because I'm working Sundays, and on Saturdays I'm a deadbeat dad because it's like the game's on. Like I'm watching college. I want to watch college football with every fiber of my being, and I have to carve out time to watch college football. But when you're comparing, again, somebody in college kicking ass, that doesn't mean squat when you have to then go up against Myles Garrett and Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa and all these great players. Like suddenly the stakes get a lot higher, and you now have to compare them to that benchmark. Yeah, they're going to look like they suck most of the time. So that's why, and it's a really cool time in the draft space. Everyone has an opinion. I actually, typically I rebel against that. I'm the only one who's allowed opinions. But actually in the draft space, it's great because there's a lot more conversation about it. And I do think that because the information is so readily available, and because it's such an inexact science, that information is pretty valuable, even if a lot of it is just bloviation and guessing and basically a plagiarism machine. But there are a lot of just fans and general people who develop an opinion on a player, but they do it against the NFL standard. And that's like a really cool thing that's, I think, really developed over the last couple of years. Again, it's to the point where if I were to, tell some Georgia Tech fan, oh, I think Jamal Haynes is Boston Scott, they'd be like, what the heck? That guy's way better. If I'm talking to somebody who knows pro football and I say Boston Scott, they're like, hell yeah, that's a hell of a pickup for an undrafted or a 7th-round player. So I'm with you. The Monroe Freeling thing will piss me off until the end of time, but we'll see who's right about that one.
I love the people in the chat. Dank D. Larry exposing himself. Yeah.
So?
No, I'm telling you
He just wants to know who's going to bust you guys.
I'm telling you my honest process. My honest process is I like everybody, and then not everybody, but I don't spend any time disliking anybody. Right. I don't spend any time disliking anybody. It's just all I like this guy, I like that guy, I like this guy, I like that guy. Then when I see the entire class, and then I start crunching, and then it's like, okay, what can't they do?
Right.
Why is this guy going in the 7th round? Right. And then a lot of times, when I scouted in the Canadian League and I ran the negotiation list for the gold miners, the defensive coordinator used to say, Larry, you love all these draft guys. And he made me go through and look at the failure rate of the prospects from the NFL information that he had this was in 1994. So this was in the early 90s. This was like 90, 91, 92, 93. He had a 3-year run that he had done this report with the Raiders of how many guys, how they busted and this and that. And he's like, there's a gigantic failure rate. He's like, you're falling in love with all these guys, but the reality is a lot of these guys can't play.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to, as you get older as a scout, you're going to have to start to hone in and be able to identify the false favorites and why they fail and why they're going to fail and identify them. So now my whole process is I love everybody till about Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And then it's like a big, what this guy can't do, what that guy can't do. And then there's like, by the time we get to like right now, I dislike a lot of people. And it's really just about the players that I still like right now are awesome.
That's the way it should be.
They're vetted. They're vetted all the way through.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Couple last thoughts, and then we'll jet. Let's do our prize picks thing here, and let me see if you have to be patient with me here. All right, let's jump into our prize picks lineup for today. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports app, and the reason I like it is very simple. You're just picking more or less on player stats or even game outcomes, building your lineup, and you're in. No complicated stuff, just what you think is going to happen in the game. Use code HMA, play $5 and get $50 in lineups instantly. Link is in the description. All right, let's get into it. Now, let me just do this the right way. I will share the screen. and we will get the Prize Picks thing up there. There we go. Okay. And then we'll move to this. There we go.
Look at us.
And we'll share the screen there. And we go to the Prize Picks thing here. And away we go. So now you see it on the screen. Hey!
All right.
Woo-hoo! We did it. All right. And we want to bet on baseball, basketball.
Let's bet on the White Sox. Let's burn some money.
Let's go baseball. Baseball. Okay.
What do we want to do? Giants under 2 runs.
This is upcoming games. So you want to go White Sox? Let's see. Where are the
do whatever the hell you want, Larry.
Where are the
I got opinions.
Yeah. Let's see. There they are.
White Sox.
They're in Baltimore.
Oh my! No,
all right. So
they're at home. To be fair. Okay. Gunnar Henderson. What is
Gunnar Henderson? Less or more than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
Who's starting tomorrow? Hold on. Fangraphs, probables. We're going to find out. Here we go. White Sox are starting. I don't know why it matters. All their pitchers suck.
The pale hose.
This is tomorrow. Shane Smith.
Sounds like a big day for Gunnar Henderson.
Go more.
More for Gunnar Henderson. Okay, so we go back.
He's getting on twice.
We need one more here.
Okay.
We'll go.
Give me a giant.
Let's see. We'll give you a giant from tomorrow.
They're right under deselect all. They can't even be on the screen. They're hidden. One over.
Oh, there we go.
You gotta hide
there we go. Okay, so we have Schwarber. More. You can only go more than half a home run.
That is fantastic.
You can go Christopher Sanchez more than 6.5 strikeouts, or you can go Oh, we got that one. So with those two.
So I can't go under Robbie Ray's on the bump tomorrow.
No, they'll have
lefty.
They'll have more tomorrow, but like right now.
All right, let's go more on Christopher Sanchez K's. That feels like a lock.
Okay, yeah, seriously. So there you go. Now we're going to submit our lineup.
Hey, now.
Wait a second. No, we're going to go into our entry fee. Let me just put that
$250,000 on that.
Instead of going 20, we'll go 10.
Okay.
We'll submit
no faith in Gunnar tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a long year. We're going to take our time.
I guess so.
We submitted our lineup, and did it take it? What does it say? What happened here?
You gotta do something.
I gotta do something. What did I do? What didn't I do?
I don't know. You said this was easy, Larry.
It says you must hit first place or 2 out of 2 in the lineup. First place.
Oh, okay. That's like a multiplier thing.
Okay, wait a second. Did I make this bet or not?
I think it made it.
Oh, I did. Oh, there you go. Oh, there we go. Successfully submitted lineup.
All right, so we're all rooting for Gunnar tomorrow, I guess. I don't know how I ended up not rooting for the White Sox, but here we are.
Let's view my lineup. There it is. It's Gunnar Henderson with 2. Either it has to be over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs.
Yeah,
Christopher Sanchez has to strike out 7. The Giants strike out a ton.
Yeah, no, they're really good. I think that everything's going great for them right now.
So thank you to Prize Picks, and we love Prize Picks. And what can we say? Go Prize Picks. And wait a second, did I
get that graphic off my damn screen, Larry?
There we go.
Thank you.
All right. Couple last thoughts before we bolt for the door. We have a couple thoughts, and basically, once again, thank you, Prize Picks. Use code HMA, play $5 and get $50 in lineups instantly. Link is in the description. There was some talk about the Niners still having interest in 3 free agents: Jadeveon Clowney, Joey Bosa, and Deebo Samuel. Okay. Do you think the 49ers, I think they have no interest in those guys right now, but I think that they probably will have interest probably in maybe the 2 rushers after the draft if they don't get what they want out of the draft.
Yeah.
Who do you like more between Joey Bosa and Jadeveon Clowney?
Clowney. I actually have found the Jadeveon Clowney slander on the interwebs to be a bit much.
He's not a pure edge rusher, and people have busted him for that for years, but he's a very versatile rusher that can rush out of the A-gap. He can blitz. He can do a lot of different things. And
he's been a good mercenary for a minute now.
He's really been almost good for like the last 3 or 4 teams he's played for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the Texans thought that they were drafting like a guy who would just be in the league for 20 years, but that's kind of what he's going to end up being. He's just been in the league forever. He'll just keep doing 1-year deals. He'll keep doing well enough to get another 1-year deal, but never good enough to get a long-term deal, certainly at this point. I think he's a good mercenary player, and I don't think that the Niners would be in any sort of I think they'd be well-suited to have him on the roster. Could they use a true sub-package pass rusher? Absolutely. That's what they really need, where it's just somebody who's flying off the edge, third down, I'm coming in, Nick Bosa's going over to 5-tech, Mikel's sliding in, you got Osa at 1, here we go. Pin him back, let's do this thing. They need somebody like that, and they've had that, D Ford into Ebukam, into whatever the hell Leonard Floyd was last year with Bryce Huff. They've always had that kind of guy. They don't have that guy on the roster this year. I do think the draft is probably the place where they get him. It's actually a pretty good year for that. I also don't like any of those guys in particular, but, it would fill a need. Jadeveon Clowney's not that guy, but he's the closest of the 2 options available to being that guy. I think I'd maybe even prefer like a Hassan Reddick or something to that effect, but if they don't end up getting a defensive end that can just get to the damn quarterback, who has a nose for hitting the quarterback, I think you could do a hell of a lot worse than Jadeveon Clowney, because every team that's signed him in the last couple of years has signed him strictly to just go get the quarterback, and then he kind of does.
Yeah, I mean he's he hunts quarterbacks, and he seems to pile up numbers.
Yeah.
So it's not totally crazy. And of course, Eberflus knew him from Dallas, and maybe there's a relationship there, and maybe he can attract him. And I think that might be a good fit.
I mean, 8.5 sacks last year, 5.5 sacks for the Panthers, the worst pass rush team of all time. They bring him in. Here's 5.5 sacks. Like, they're only 5.5 sacks. Year before that, he gets 9.5 for the Ravens. He had a bad year with the Browns in 2022. He had 9 sacks the year before that. Terrible year with the Titans in 2020. But like last couple of years, again, as a mercenary, Ravens, Panthers, Cowboys, he's racked up 23.5 sacks. Like, that's pretty good for somebody you can just grab off the street for like $5-6 million in all incentive laden contracts.
No doubt. Let's finish on 2 fronts. There was an ESPN Barnwell trade that the Niners traded 2 fourths from 26 to 23 for Denzel Boston. And I'm just kind of wondering, I was watching some wide receiver film the other day. Man, the Mekhi Lemon route running is just really something. I mean, he's just there's a lot to like there. He's undersized, but man, there's a lot to like there. I can see the JSN comparisons and why people like him. Denzel Boston scares the hell out of me because I know he had a bunch of touchdowns, but I see a guy who doesn't separate, and people are saying he's Mike Evans. Mike Evans ran from the 4.3s coming out of A&M.
It's laughable.
This guy's not. The next time somebody shows me GPS to justify speed, I mean, Trey Lance supposedly ran fast for the GPS, and then he was Kyle Juszczyk when he got on the field.
I'm wondering when these things are calibrated and how they're calibrated.
Exactly. And
you know who my pro comp is for Denzel Boston?
You know who?
Remember Hakeem Butler out of Iowa State?
Yes, who was a big. I think Hakeem Butler was actually big, strong. A big, strong, fast guy. I don't even know that this guy's even that.
They're just kind of touchdown merchants. They can box out college corners. That ain't hard to do. Like, Denzel Boston has nothing special about him. I do not get it. I think that anyone who gets him, it's like N'Keal Harry or freaking Hakeem Butler. I don't think they're going to be in the league. I don't think Denzel Boston's going to be in the league in a couple of years. I don't get it. And by the way, like, the Niners,
what's his 40 time? If you had to guess, this one scout says he has length, size, and really good speed. I'd estimate 4.45. He was a downfield threat for them. I don't think he runs 4.45. I bet you
not to run.
I bet you he runs 4.55. Hey, this just in. Guys who can run. Guys who can jump. Guys who can lift. There is no such thing as I was super fast but didn't run. There's no such thing as I was super strong but didn't lift. There is no such thing as I can jump super high but I didn't do the vert. The guys who can do these things do them, and it's never accidental, And the fact that this guy had both a combine invite and a pro day and didn't run a 40 tells you that he's fucking slow.
But he wins a lot of jump balls, which is something that, so much of the NFL is jump balls, Larry. You're just throwing it up there and hoping something good happens. That's how they play football in the National Football League. Just guessing. Just, hey, you're bigger than this guy. Let's throw a jump ball.
He's a basket. He reminds me of like a basketball guy, Dieter. He reminds me
except
of
like the last
like
basketball guy. Like the thing is, you go like, oh, basketball guy. Well, then, Drake London was a good basketball guy. Yeah, he's also a really good fucking receiver. Like he separates and he has great linear speed and really good hands. Like this guy is a souped up version, and this is being generous. Maybe a more aesthetically pleasing version of Juwan Jennings, except I don't think he has the deftness. He doesn't have the deftness to be as good as Juwan Jennings. I don't think he's mean. The only way that this guy cuts it in the NFL is if he's just the meanest son of a bitch who believes that he's God and just is throw that 50-50 ball. I'm going to get all of them. I also don't see that. The speed and separation concerns are a bit of an issue, especially at X receiver, where so many of your routes are sacrificial so that the safety comes over the top. I don't think a safety's ever going to have to worry about him. So he's a power slot who can't separate and doesn't run clean routes. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm happy to eat my words if he has a great pro career. I'm looking at Lance Erlang, comparing him to Puka Nacua. The fuck drugs are you on, Lance?
Seriously. No 40, lacks an extra gear, possession type receiver. He's got great collegiate production. There's no question. I just see a possession guy. I see a guy who every catch that I see Denzel Boston make, the defender is standing right there.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
I was joking the other day. I'm like, I'm going to keep watching this guy until I see him make a catch where the defender couldn't touch him when the ball arrives.
Right.
There's nothing like that.
Well, I'll tell the other thing too. I mean, oh man, he absolutely killed Colorado State and he absolutely killed Washington State. Then you watch him against Oregon, who has multiple draftable secondary players, 25 yards. You watch him against OSU, 26 yards. What happens when you actually play secondaries that are worth something? He gets his ass kicked. Oh, but he put up a $153 against Illinois. Who cares? Like, I know Illinois is a pretty good football team, but like he doesn't have anything that gets me excited. I've watched this guy as much as any. I don't get it. I do not get it. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills on this. What are the first two tapes? Okay, what was he good at? Let me watch him against Oregon and Ohio State. That will be the best pro comparisons. Ohio State film is gospel to me because they actually run NFL concepts. And he was non-existent, did not exist in that game. 3 catches, 26 yards. He had a long of 17. Non-existent. What's he going to do in the pros? He can't. I don't think he can play X effectively because he's not speedy enough. It certainly doesn't. There's no like
smart. He was Big Ten all academic, but he was third.
Great.
He was third team all conference this year.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I don't get it either.
But that guy's getting somebody fired.
Yeah, to me,
people keep mocking him in the first round. I'm like, dude, I have a 3rd round draft grade on him.
He's got a lot of touchdowns. Scores a lot of touchdowns. How can he compare with Mike Evans when Mike Evans ran 4.39?
It's also unbelievable to me. It's like, well, watch his touchdowns. They're all just him boxing somebody out. And it's like, Zion Williamson had a hell of a high school career against, Sisters of the Poor in South Carolina. And, then he gets to the NBA and suddenly it's not so easy. It's just, I really don't get it. I have a day 3 grade on him. I think he's slow. Doesn't run crisp routes. Oh, but he can box out, UC Davis's corner. He boxes him out real good.
Here is what I think is going to be the big challenge for the 49ers on draft day. 2 years after they drafted Ricky Pearsall in the 1st round, Dieter, as sure as I'm sitting here, I am convinced that the Niners are going to be staring at both Max Ihenacher and Jordan Tyson. They're both going to
27.
Well, look at this. Matt Miller from ESPN. Ruben Bain outside the top 10. Jordan Tyson outside the top 20 reported this last week. There's belief that Jordan Tyson is going to fall to the 49ers. Now let's talk about Tyson. I want to get your thoughts on Tyson, but I'm the Bob McGinn anonymous scouts reports are out there this week, and the Jordan Tyson one, Dieter, is off the freaking chain. Listen to these comments. Okay. This guy was 4th in the nation in yards per catch at Colorado in 22, and then transferred. Tore his ACL late in the season, transferred to ASU.
Yep.
Okay, here's one scout. He's really good. Somebody needs a receiver. You're going to look hard at him. I'd say he's 20 to 30 in the draft. He blocks. He can run great routes. He has great hands. He's just a competitor. He's fast. He can hit the home run. He's the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's one scout. Broke his collarbone in 2024, sat out 3 games this year with a hammy. Still didn't work. It hasn't worked out for scouts. Here's a second scout. He's the best receiver in this draft. His Achilles heel is his durability. He has had something injury-wise every year. He's not soft. It's legit. At minimum, talent-wise, he's a number 2. He's a starter. He has it all. Size, athleticism, hands, route run detail, run after the catch. He's fast enough. Finished with 158 catches for over 2,200 yards and 22 touchdowns.
He was badass.
Third
Shitty
scout.
quarterback, too.
Third scout. Sam Levitt. You're not a Sam Levitt guy?
No, I am not.
Well, a lot of people think he's NFL.
Good luck to him in the NFL with all that.
I haven't watched them that much, but
I've
third
had
scout.
to watch him because Ian Archer and because of Tyson. It's
they
did not like him.
This is the third scout. I don't think he has first-round traits. He's got adequate size and adequate speed. He'll catch the heck out of the ball. There were times he would disappear, and then all of a sudden he and Sam Levitt would get together, and they'd go boom, 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 and score. There was nothing about him that's exceptional. All this first-round talk, I don't see it. To me, to be in the first round, you got to have something special about you. There's nothing physically about him, size, speed, anything that sticks out, and he's been hurt. He was an enigma to me. Okay, so he's a 3-star guy from Allen, Texas. Another scout says you can see the quick twitch and the movement, and he can run, said a 4th scout. But but listen to this. But this guy is one of the most non-competitive receivers I've done in a while. Body catcher, even when it's not contested. I've never seen anybody catch slants and just slide to the ground like this guy does.
He does do that.
It's nuts. He's just not a tough dude. He doesn't make catches when bodies are around him. Very inconsistent. And Hines Ward coaches him, which is crazy because I know no way Hines is saying, this is what we need here. I don't like him at all. He gets hurt all the time, and I don't think he's tough. Let's see.
That's a legitimately fair criticism there.
I mean, he goes, I don't think he's very tough. His brother, I didn't realize his brother's Jalen Tyson, who was drafted by the Cavs, and is averaging 13 points in the league. But then a 5th scout said, if he's healthy, he's really, really good.
Yes.
But they don't come out of there, ASU, real tough. I mean, that's a knock at Ricky Pearsall. He's going to have to show me he can be tough.
That's fair.
So there's a lot there, right? There's people saying he's the total package, he's the best, and then you have other guys going, this guy's basically a wuss, and he's soft, and he's not very good. And then INH, the reports on him are like, hey, you know what? Guys like this are basically boom or bust.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a slow reactor, and you can't take advantage of your talent that way. I had a hard time with the film. What happened here? He'll go 4 or 5 plays, and you're like, what is this guy? You have to figure out if you like him, if you love him, if you're nervous about him. And then he basically said,
Isn't that their job? Isn't that the job of a scout?
Yeah, but I mean, basically he's saying, like, there's a heavy dose.
It ain't obvious. Sorry.
Well, that there's some risk here. I mean, this is this is what one scout said about INH. He's off balance a lot. The hand placement's wide. He doesn't seem to pick things up quickly. And then he goes, these kinds of guys, they're kind of boom or bust. He might be great, but he might not be very good at all.
He goes, what tape that guy was watching.
He's new to football and he plays like it. A 4th scout said these guys are always hit or miss. And how long will it take? And if you'll get it, you can see the ability. You just don't know the background, the learning, the work ethic, and whether he's going to have confidence to develop.
Again, that's
off balance
like
a lot.
Job of a scout, but okay.
But I mean, that's my point. I guess is this: the Niners drafted a 1st-round receiver, and they need a 1st-round replacement for Trent Williams. And you could make an argument that the best receiver may fall to them, and the offensive tackle that really does look the best. I mean, INH,
highest ceiling.
he might be a bust, but man, this guy's 6'6", 330 and ripped and fast and lean, and he just looks amazing.
Yep.
So I guess the question is, do you think John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan will be able to, if Jordan Tyson and Ian Acher are there for them at 27, do they take either one of those guys, or do they pass them?
I think they take Tyson. I really would. To me, he's like a twitchier Jordan Addison. I mean, we've talked about the Niners trading for Jordan Addison again and again. They clearly, I mean, I don't know, maybe we're completely off base, but like, they'd love to have Jordan Addison. Here's a twitchier version of him. I do think that there is probably something to not wanting to go back to the Arizona State well. I think Ricky hasn't exactly, if the reputation that maybe, I don't know if the Niners have this, if this is leaked to the Niners or not, or if it's reached the Niners or not, but if the reputation of ASU is that them boys are soft, Ricky Pearsall ain't exactly helping the reputation there, especially with what happened at the end of the year where, week 18 just kind of didn't show up. Not in a metaphorical way, like almost in a literal way. So not great. I don't think that they can take Ian Acher in the first round because I don't think that they can play him at left guard. I don't think there's a role for him at 27. So while it makes a lot of sense, they're not in a position to where they can just take best available player, even if that player isn't going to play for 2 or 3 years. They got to have something in the here and now. And if that guy was available at 58, that's a different conversation. But 27, you can't go with the project tackle, even if his ceiling's high, because it's just not that high. It just really isn't. So
you do think though, if Tyson is there, they would go with Tyson?
Yeah, I think that they'd have a very, very hard time saying no.
When you watched him, I mean, what do you think of him? This is a,
I wanted to hate him. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's some stuff where, a lot of the traits and stuff, I'm like, this is not my kind of guy. And then you watch him and you're like, fuck, he's smooth. This dude's clean. He's got great deceleration, which is something I very, very much value. He works the hips of everybody that's covering him. They moved him around a lot, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, that rep right there where he puts Siegel on the ground. I mean, he just consistently breaks ankles, and you can't teach it. He's everything that early in this process, I mean, that's not exactly an impressive route, but he's everything in the process that people are like, oh, Mekhi Lemon. Like, I think Tyson is a much better route runner. I think that he's a much more versatile player. I don't particularly agree with the body catch on everything. Again, he's not big and he's not elite level fast. And because of that, I think a lot of scouts will look for all the things that he can't do. And
this last one. Okay, look at this last play here.
Watch
this.
He
slant.
definitely takes business decisions.
This right here is alarming. Okay, catches it, slant. Now he's going the other way.
Yeah,
that play is supposed to be going. You got to run into that contact.
Yeah. Well, when you constantly get injured, you typically look for ways to not run into contact, which probably is not going to be great at the NFL level. He might not be on their board. I just think that you move him around as a Z. Fuck. I mean, he's really impressive as a route runner.
What do you think of Chris Bell and Ted Hurst? Because I really like those guys, and I think they're probably I think there's a chance the 49ers go wide receiver in the second round, and I think those are the two guys that potentially they could be after.
The only receiver,
Hurst
is really, really good. If Hurst somehow got into a time machine and was in the 2018 NFL draft, just shooting off the hip here, he would be a first-round pick. But because there's so many good receivers and the position is so overloaded year after year, he's going to go day 2. I mean, I think he's going to be an absolute steal. Kind of reminds me of like a Kayshon Boutte, except I think a little cleaner, but can just be your sacrificial X until he cleans up some stuff. But it's not a lot to clean up, and he's just a really good player. I think Hurst is going to be an absolute steal. Maybe not a great fantasy performer, but just like a really good every snap player, probably from the jump.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hurst, Steve Smith was comparing him to Larry Fitzgerald on
That's
TV.
a bit much. That's
and I don't
a stretch.
think that's a good comparison, really. I mean, Larry
No.
Fitzgerald was a horse. He was really jacked. To
Yeah.
me, though, Ted Hurst does have almost the perfect receiver body. 6'4", very long arms. He's very confident, strong, tough. Will run across the middle. I
mean, the Georgia State thing is an issue. I mean, I'm not going to lie about it.
There's going to be a process where he's going to have to adapt. You know what I mean? You don't just go from Georgia State to the pros. There's going to be some kind of bump in the road. There's going to be some adversity.
He could just be Christian Watson. He could be George Pickens. So, there's a little Alec Pierce there. I think baseline, if I had to give you like one name, I prefer comps. It's easier for me mentally. He's got a lot of Nico Collins going there in Ted Hurst. Nico Collins is an absolutely awesome receiver. So, yeah.
His last one is Oscar Delp and George Kittle have an awful lot of similarities, do they not? I mean,
no, that's a stretch. I'm Delp is my number 2 tight end. I
just meant from the standpoint of Oscar Delp has never done anything receiving wise in college, but there's reason to believe that he might be a very good receiver in the pros.
I buy
George Kittle had like 50 catches in his entire college career.
I mean, we're not dealing with an Iowa situation where their offense is let's punt. But when you're the 5th option on your team and you're the 2nd best receiving option on your team behind Lawson Lucky, who I don't prefer to Delp. Honestly, I find it ridiculous that Delp is not considered a day 2 prospect. I think he's the 2nd best tight end in this class. So that's the guy I would take. I would take him at 58. I wouldn't think twice about it. I'm sure that somebody would say, oh, that's too early.
It is too early based on his production, but there's reason to believe that he was just completely underutilized. I mean, he looks to me a very similar player to George Kittle coming out of Iowa. Now, George Kittle was a better run blocker, but what I'm talking about is just a guy who is underutilized. I mean, Delp never had over 300 yards receiving, and yet
but every time he catches it, he looks like he knows everything. I love his little 7-yard cuts.
Reminds me of Barner for the Seattle.
Barner's a good one. Who does it? Kind of Cade Otton-y. If Cade Otton could block, that's who Oscar Delp reminds me of as a route runner.
That's really good because Cade Otton is a tremendous route runner.
Might also, in the highest end is kind of like a Tucker Kraft. I don't think he has the same I'm going to take 4 dudes with me, but there's some Tucker Kraft there too.
Let's hit our supers. Thanks to all of our sponsors. We should thank Nevada Chevrolet. Thank you to Nevada Chevrolet, voted best dealership on Nextdoor app. 2025 rated top car dealership by Carfax. Go see David Corral. He will take care of you. Family owned for over 50 years. Thank you to Nevada Chevrolet. Also, thank you to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, the great Anthony Catanias at 831-521-5264. He's also a great follow on Instagram, Sharp Corners 831 on the gram. Thank you, Alomar Marina. You can dine while you float at Alomar Marina. The Alomar restaurant is fantastic. AlomarMarina.net, 5999 Garden Highway, open Wednesday through Sunday. Tell them that Krug sent you. And last but certainly not least, thank you to our good friends at Habas Law. They will fight to make it right. Habas Law, fantastic sponsor of the Krug Show. 1-800-INJURED. Great people, great law firm. If you need a fantastic PI attorney and you want to win, call them. 1-800-INJURED, Habas Law. All right, here we go. Some supers. Alexander McDonald, 2-3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett. Question mark. Did we forget that we traded 3 firsts for Trey Lance? Great trade. Let's do it. This regime is running out of time. Larry, your thoughts? I don't know if the regime is running out of time because I don't know how much time they have left. It's kind of an arbitrary thing.
We don't know if we'll even be here next Sunday.
I would say that some people would say that there is no timeline for the regime. But come on, man. Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl. He got fired. John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl. He got fired. Eventually, you're going to get fired.
Been a minute, though.
Yeah, it takes a while. But I mean, if they give him 3 more years and they don't get it done, they will have 13 years. Andy Reid got 13 years in Philly. I think Shanahan could potentially get more than Andy Reid got. I just think it's a market that would probably give him a little bit more patience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Garrett thing is interesting because I think realistically the Niners want to win with the guys they got, the Trents, the Georges, the CMCs. And if they're going to do that, they're going to need to inject their roster with some great talent right now.
Yes.
And then they're going to have to turn things around right now. And maybe if they traded a bunch of stuff for Garrett and they got a great, they would take a 2-year, 3-year swing and try to win a Super Bowl. And if it doesn't happen, then it's, maybe they tuck tail and move on.
Yeah. If they want it doesn't sound to me when you hear them talk like they want to go all in on anything. So they just kind of want to make the playoffs and see what happens. The Kyle Shanahan's paraphrasing, but that's what he said. So I don't think they're going for some big swing, but this might be the time to do it. Seattle just won. I think they're kind of
Seattle might go for a big swing.
They could. They could. Though I don't know if Myles Garrett would be very happy considering they don't exactly run wide 9 over there.
Yeah.
But you can never trust the Rams. But I think that the Niners are just content to wait the Rams out, or specifically Matt Stafford out. You don't have to worry about Arizona for a while, and I don't think you'll ever have to worry about Arizona with the way that they just handled their offseason. I like a lot of their players, but oh boy. Eagles, they're imploding. Bears, I'm not betting on it. Like, there's reason for the Niners to just say, let's get into it and see what happens. But you want to win a Super Bowl, requires some bold moves, and we'll see if they're scared off by the last really big one they made.
Michael says 2007, the most loaded draft: Joe Thomas, Calvin Johnson, Adrian Peterson, Patrick Willis, Revis, Marshawn Lynch, Joe Staley, Greg Olson, all in round 1. Wow.
Yep, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
The great Anthony Catania says, great show. The Niners should trade out from the first round and get more picks, more bodies, higher hit rate. Is there any chance Garrett gets traded to the Niners? I hope you both had an amazing Easter. Larry, thank you for the birthday wishes. Yeah, happy birthday. Belated birthday, Anthony Catania. And check out Sharp Corners. We kind of hit this earlier, but, I think the smart play would be to trade down. The question is, somebody's going to have to want to trade up. Yeah. And I think there might be a team that would trade up if they want Tyler Simpson.
Yeah, there might be. I don't know.
I don't know.
By the way, first pick in the 2007 draft was Jamarcus Russell, so maybe we have to hold up on
the purple drank.
Yeah.
Anthony Catania. The one thing I'll tell you about Lane Kiffin, he doesn't see the greatness in Jamarcus. Remember that cut? I mean, it was like, you're Lane Kiffin, man, I'd have that thing on a loop.
The greatness of Jamarcus. Yeah,
he didn't understand the greatness of Jamarcus Russell. That's my Al Davis.
It's pretty good.
Anthony Catania. Great show, Larry. Thank you for the birthday wishes, and I hope you both had an amazing Easter. Thank you again, Anthony. That's fantastic. And we have this one from Stefan. Have you heard of WeWoo, Hurst, and Ione? Oh, now you're trolling me. I love WeWoo. I love Hurst, and I love Ione. But you're not an Ione fan. You don't love Venga.
Larry, I don't get it. I don't get it with that.
You don't see him as a powerhouse guard, huh? To me, there's very little to get. He's just a powerful presence who is never really. He doesn't have awesome ability as a pass protector, but he does have
important
road grading ability as a run blocker.
Yeah,
he's a road grader.
Yes, I'll give you that. When he blocks,
he doesn't even have good instincts, and he had a decent year.
He's like late stage Colecchio Semele to me. Like, it doesn't move well. You're supposed to be a run blocker. You don't move well. And then you don't anchor that well in pass pro, but you don't move well. And it's like, I've seen great guards before. First round caliber guards. They move really, really well and are road graders. So this guy doesn't move well, but hey, if he gets his hands on you, you're going down. It's like, well, run around him.
Baldy said he'd rather have him than Zabel from
That's
last year.
I mean, it's just whatever. You know what? I'm going to stand by my thing. Y'all can keep talking him up. The plagiarism machine is well in there. I don't think that he's going to be terribly special.
To me, that's the one guy that if he fell to the Niners, I would just turn that card in.
Let me put it to you this way. He's talked about consistently as the number one guard. Oh no, he's a real first round guard. I don't think he's even close to worthy of a 5th-year option at guard. Really? I have him as my 3rd guard. I prefer Besantis and Pregnon to him.
Oh, I really don't like Pregnon. I like Besantis. Besantis is a road grader. I will say this. I think there's going to be, if the Niners, pull a surprise on draft day, it will probably be Besantis at 27 because nobody's talking Besantis, and I could see. And Besantis is a powerhouse. He played left guard in College Station. It's a real easy plug-and-play idea of Besantis. 2 last thoughts here, and then they're not supers, but Marcellus Fulbright says Nick Singleton has David Johnson-like ability.
Is that
he's
a compliment?
Not much of a runner, but he's a good receiver, and he is a big kid. The other guy, Katron Allen, is just so slow.
Yes.
Singleton's got great speed for that size, but the instincts just are not there. I think David Johnson actually had more natural running back instincts than Singleton. I think Singleton might be a Niner because I think there are some things that you could say, hey, this guy could be a Christian. He could help you in a lot of different ways. But I think his lack of feel as a runner kind of takes it out for me. I'm not a Singleton's lack of instincts at an instinctive position lose me. You lose me. I understand the big, strong, fast, but I don't see it. I don't see it for him.
Yeah, he's very Joe Mixon-y to me, which could be viewed as a compliment, but now you see Joe Mixon can't really get a job, and it's just, if everything is working great, he could be good. He could be good. He could be even maybe a little better than good, but once anything goes awry, he just can't do squat for you, and there's nothing special about him.
Scuba Diver with the last one here. He says, I like Mark Gronowski better than our 3rd quarterback, which would be Rourke. I don't know about Rourke. I will say this. I'd be interested to see if I could add Anthony Richardson, if I could get some kind of goal line package going for Richardson. I think Richardson in Kyle's system could be really intriguing because he's got such a skill set. Rourke, obviously the Niners took 3-week look at Rourke, but I wasn't a big Rourke guy at Indiana. I know he played with a torn ACL, which is unbelievable and shows great toughness. But I don't know, man. I don't know about Rourke. I was a late round pick. It's a flyer. There's no pressure on him. But if you made me gamble, like Rourke, does he make it in the NFL? Yes or no? I say no.
No, yeah, right.
But I like Gronowski, and Gronowski was, Iowa looks bad. Iowa's offense the last couple of years was Spencer Petras and then Gronowski. I mean, they just look bad. I mean,
the whole point of Gronowski when they got him in from North Dakota State, I think it was, or South Dakota State, one of the
South Dakota State. He won a couple national championships.
The whole point was that he was supposed to elevate their offense. They were going to change their offense, and then they just looked like the same shit. He's
big. He's athletic. He's tough. He blocks.
He's actually not that big. That's the other thing.
He's 230.
He's 230, but he's only 6'2".
Yeah.
So,
no, but I mean, as far as 230, I mean, that's pretty big.
I mean, I don't know. Sam Ehlinger is 225.
But I mean, 230. I mean, if you watch this guy in the All-Star game, he handed the ball off on an RPO and then blocked the middle backer and the safety. So,
not exactly how they play offense in the NFL, but that's cool. I mean,
I don't know. Gronowski, what I like about Gronowski.
He throws a terrible deep ball.
Yeah. I mean, what I like about him.
He's not accurate on the short balls. So, what are we doing here?
He's got gigantic. He's a developmental prospect. He's a day 3 developmental prospect. He's got gigantic hands, 10.25-inch hands. He's a mechanical engineering major, so he's very, very bright. He's pretty athletic, and he's pretty tough. And he came from a winning program that runs the Niners system. So
he throws a terrible football, but other than that,
I mean, but it's not. We're talking about day 2 flyer on a quarterback.
That'd be
or day 3. Yeah, who do you like at quarterback? If you were taking a day 3 flyer on a quarterback, because that's all these things are. They're flyers.
Is Nussmeier on the board still?
No, he's
Okay.
going on day 2.
Okay.
So I mean,
legitimate question.
Nussmeier. Okay, what the board says to me is Mendoza 1.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson goes 21.
No. Nussmeier's the second best quarterback in this class. It's not even particularly
Drew
close.
Aller. You think he's going to go over Ty Simpson?
Yeah, he should. He won't, but he should.
Yeah, I don't think he will, though. Drew Aller, they have it going 79. Nussmeier, they have going 87. I mean, the only thing about Nussmeier I don't like is I don't like quarterbacks with tiny hands, and he's got tiny hands. And I saw him live this year. He was terrible.
He was.
But,
he also had like 4 broken ribs.
I don't love this. I think this is one of the worst quarterback classes I've ever seen.
It is god awful.
I kind of like Gronowski. And I kind of like the Missouri State kid, Jacob Clark.
Yeah, we've talked
Other than that, I don't really like almost any of the quarterbacks really across the board. And I don't like any of them. I really don't. I think I wouldn't mind Taylon Green, like if he was there on day 3.
Not a quarterback, unless he wants to do Brad Smith special team wide receiver gadget.
He's 6'6", he's basically Kaepernick. He's 6'6", 230 with 4.3 speed.
Yeah, he got replaced at quarterback at Arkansas.
Yeah, he was bad. I mean, Arkansas was terrible.
Yeah,
but this guy is so
he's an unbelievable athlete.
I would take a shot on him over some of these other donkeys.
The only quarterback. So first off, I only think that there are 3 legitimately draftable quarterbacks. I know that there will be more. The only 3 that I could draft with a straight face are Mendoza, Simpson, and Nussmeier. I don't think you can draft Aller. He will get drafted. I don't think you should draft Carson Beck. He'll get drafted. Same with Green.
Payton. He might get drafted.
Payton will get drafted. I don't get it, but okay. The only guy that everyone else should legitimately be an undrafted free agent. The only one that I can maybe make a weird argument for is Jalen Daniels, the Kansas quarterback. I just kind of like him. And that takes a lot for a Missouri grad to be like, hey, this Jalen Daniels guy is pretty good. He got his ass kicked by Missouri, but he throws a pretty accurate ball. He scoots pretty well. There's something to Jalen Daniels where 1% chance.
He's a leader.
1% chance in the back of my head that like Jalen Daniels is somehow the starting quarterback for a team at the end of next year. Not by choice, but he has a lot of Malik Willis to his game that I kind of can't shake. So Jalen Daniels is my flyer.
I like Jalen. I think that's a good one. I really do. I like Jalen Daniels. First of all, he finished his Kansas career second in career passing yards. The guy almost threw for 10,000 yards.
To be fair, not a hard thing to do. Was it second at Kansas or second at NCAA? Second at Kansas is like 20.
But he's also a Big 12 all-academic first team. He's really smart. He's athletic, kind of a gamer.
Yeah.
He was their 3 years in a row. I think he was their captain.
Yep.
There's a lot of good things, to like about this kid.
And if you're paying nothing for him, I think bring him into camp. If you cut him 5 days in, you go, whatever. But, there's something about Jalen Daniels where I just think that he's going to consistently be really hard to cut. There's just something about him. He's
a California kid. He's from Lawndale, and he helped lead Lawndale back in 2018 to a 14-2 record. He's interesting. Yeah, I mean, he really is interesting. I watched him a couple times, and then in the All-Star game, I thought he looked really, really good. I mean, now the All-Star games I think are great spots for the quarterback because I like to see just kind of, okay, you just learned the system this week. Can you? And that's that. To me, the All-Star games are great for the quarterbacks because that is NFL football.
Totally.
You don't get the game plan 3, 4, 5 weeks ahead of time.
You don't get to run your same plays again and again and again. It's new shit every week.
Yeah, it's new stuff, and it's like you got to be able to, in real time, grasp it, introduce it, teach it, kind of to your teammates. And I think Daniels is interesting, and also he is 6 feet tall, which is a little too short. But he's put together. I mean, he is a good 220-pound athletic. This guy's strong. I mean, he's not some weak guy. He's 220
He can
pounds.
run in the NFL. You won't mind him in the open field running. It's probably not the best plan. I wouldn't draw it up like that. He's not Mike Vick or anything. But if he's in the open space and he's against the linebacker, you're not going to be holding your breath. He's a good football player.
Last super, Stephen 49ers says, how many Pro Bowlers away do you think the 49ers we are before becoming a Super Bowl favorite? Oh,
favorite?
Wow. 5? 4? I mean, you got to have to me, it's more about speed. The Niners, when they went to the Super Bowl in 54, Super Bowl 54.
Yeah. I was about to say.
Them and Kansas City were the two fastest teams in pro football. The 49ers this last year were so slow. And the lack of separation at wide receiver was startling. Yep. The lack of speed off the edges, startling. The lack of speed at linebacker, startling. The lack of speed at wide receiver, shocking. I mean, they really were a slow football team. They need tons and tons and tons of speed. And it's not just about Pro Bowlers; it's about overall speed. So, so I would say it's doable this year, but it's going to take, I think, a little bit of a trade back because I think they need at least 2 more picks. I think if you wind up with 6, no way. I think the ideal number would be 10, but 8.
You always would say that, Larry.
But no, because I really believe that. If you look at this football team, they have real needs. And their needs are they got to have another running back. Mm-hmm. They got to have at least 1 more receiver. They need a real tight end. They probably need a couple offensive linemen. They need a couple defensive linemen. They need a stack backer who's young and can run. They need a starting free safety who can play, down the field. Yep. They could use a number 1 corner. I mean, it's about
I don't know about number 1, but they certainly can use another corner.
I mean, I don't think they have a true number 1. I don't think they've had a true number 1 since Dion. If they had a gigantic, big, rangy, physical, dominant type corner, I just think they need a special corner or a special receiver. I just think when we look at it, I think it adds up to about 10 needs. If they had, let's just say this, when I do mock drafts, no matter how good they are, if I wind up with a 6-person draft class, I'm always like, they're still gonna need some breaks in the undrafted market. But if you can trade back a couple, it wouldn't take much. If you traded back 1 time, you could probably go from 6 picks to 8 picks. And I to me, all the mock drafts that I've done look better when they have at least 8 picks. And
I just don't think this is the draft to have a lot of shares in. I think that.
Well, they don't have a pick after the 4th round. I mean, I would use one of the 4th round picks to move back and go with volume.
I'm going to bet that when John Lynch goes up to the podium before the draft and we ask him, how many draftable players do you have? That he's going to come in around $130. So they're sitting at 139. That's pretty good. Obviously, everyone has different opinions. So their 130 is different than the other team's 150 and, needs and all this stuff. Like I wouldn't want to be anywhere near the 6th or 7th round in this draft because pretty much after $1, I mean, for me, it's like $1.25, but I'm picky. I would say probably after about $1.50, they should all be undrafted free agents. So if you're taking them, it's just kind of taking a flyer. Here's a prediction. I think
I don't know, man, but if you look at the Matt Miller 7-round mock draft,
we talked about this last week. Matt Miller knows how we read those things.
He had guys in the 7th round like Zane Durant. If Zane Durant is in the 7th round, then you want 7th round picks.
Yeah, but then read the 4th and the 5th round, and it's a bunch of guys who suck.
I know it was a weird.
No,
mock.
That's clever. It's clever because no one ever reads the 5th and 6th rounds. They look at the 1st round, the 2nd round, then they skip to the last. Like, who will our last pick be? I don't have the attention span to get through all these rounds. It's clever. Matt's smart about that kind of stuff. That's how he got to where he's at. It's not a good draft. I wouldn't want as many shares as possible. I think the Niners are sitting pretty where they're at. In an ideal world, they move down from 27 and up from 58. But then, as John Lynch aptly likes to say, sometimes a draft happens. So we'll see what happens there. But I wouldn't be building the foundation of my team on the 2026 NFL draft. 1, that means that you're in a bad spot, and they're not. And 2, not a good spot to need to be loading up on, much in the same way as last year. I think we're going to see a lot of guys who are late-round picks this year getting cut in training camp.
Should be interesting. Well, time always tells. Scuba Pat says no love for Cade Klubnik.
He should show some love to the game of football. And was it supposed to be a 1st round pick coming into this year? And I don't think you can draft him in good conscience with the tape.
Yeah,
just
it's just disappointing. There's several things I didn't like about Cade Klubnik. It's not it's just, to me, it's a really, really questionable quarterback class. But at the same time, there'll be somebody. There'll be somebody. Somebody will come out of the woodwork and play well. It's just kind of the way it always goes.
Jalen Daniels.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Dieter. Thanks to all of you. Dieter, what do you got cooking the rest of the week? Are you going to be on the leader? Are we going to hear you on KBR any night this week?
Yeah, I think I follow you on Wednesday. And then Jake and I should do a show tomorrow night and then probably Friday morning. So looking forward to that. And we'll
Draft guide?
Draft guide is imminent. Draft guide is killing us. Draft guide is coming. So
it's coming. It's definitely coming.
Oh, yeah. No, the places on the internet have already been staked out and paid for. So it's going somewhere on that on the site that I can't say out loud right now because it would crash what we already have built up there. But
well, let us promote it for you when it comes out. Send us a copy. We will get that thing out in the social media.
Yeah, I saw that you printed out your own mock draft, so I'm definitely gonna have to figure out a way to print out a web page.
That's gonna do it for us. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful.